Hey guys, Robert and Bianca here, and well, we've both seen The Suicide Squad, and what did you think?
It was an overall like for me. I
Same
I
here.
would watch it again.
I watched it twice so far.
Oh wow.
I loved it. I personally loved it. It is like my second. It's neck and neck with Wonder Woman for favorite DCEU. It's in my top five for overall comic movies.
Nice. That's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, but I gotta say, way better than the first one. I'm one of those that liked the first one.
I remember watching the first one. I'm like, I'm not sure if I like this or not.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
it's one of
so
those where you're
confused when
not
I
sure.
finished
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
everybody came out of the movie theater like, that was the best ever. And I'm like, wait, but was it? I don't know. I
I can
mean,
understand why you were torn, but I personally got some enjoyment out of it. I thought Jared Leto's Joker was interesting, not great by a long shot, but it was interesting. But you could so tell. I could tell it was this and Batman v Superman. It's one of the first times I was able to tell there's something wrong with these movies. There is something wrong. I normally am not one to tell that, but with these movies, I could tell. I'm like something wrong here. And, but
I was the same. Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty much a soft reboot, and I can't really tell. It actually did feel like a sequel, just one of those standalone sequels.
I did it. It's a soft reboot. I thought it was a
That's
sequel.
no. Some people call it a no. Well, a soft reboot is where you pretty much use the same characters, but you're not picking up where you left off.
Oh, okay, okay. Because
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
what a soft
mention
reboot.
Will
It's not
Smith's
like a
character.
yeah, yeah.
Deadshot.
It's not like Incredible Hulk, which was a requel, which was a sequel, but a reboot at the same time because they changed a lot of elements. It's not like that, but it's more or less like a fresh start, but was still set within the universe.
Oh, okay, that makes
Now,
sense.
Will Smith, though, the thing is though with him in Bloodsport, yeah, it is pretty much what people thought. It was supposed to be Deadshot. They replaced him with Bloodsport because he's the closest thing, but it's because Will wants to come back. He's like, "Don't kill me off." He doesn't want a repeat of Independence Day 4. He's like, "Don't kill me off. Just leave the door open." So they're like, "Okay, we can." He's busy, so we'll get Idris Elba and we'll have him be Bloodsport. And I gotta say, this version of Bloodsport way better than he's ever been in the comics.
I have. This is my first time hearing Bloodsport,
Yeah, he's
so
from
I was super
The
interested.
very beginning of the post-crisis Superman, and his take was he was pretty much just this generic assassin guy, and then his replacement, the second one, was this very racist guy. Which yes, him taking over the
Oh,
mantle from a black guy was intentional, and then eventually they two fought each other, and by the end of it, they were both dead.
oh my gosh.
Yep.
So I guess I like this one better.
Oh, way better, way better. And I'll be honest, I saw Tristan, Nerdette's video review, and I have to agree with her. I liked Peacemaker up until near the end.
I was the same. I was
I
the same.
felt,
I'm like, oh, they're gonna do this. I didn't see the video yet of no,
oh yeah, yeah. Well, basically,
I
just like
totally
he said, like,
forgot.
how are you gonna do a series off of him now? He's irredeemable.
I know, but like during the ending, I'm like, oh, he looks like might be redeemable, but then I'm like,
No,
oh no, you're not redeemable.
no.
But
Okay,
then
yeah, he looked like he regretted it, but then the moment he saw Chloe, grab the drive, it's like, nope, the switch went right back. He's no longer regretting.
okay, I did want to ask about Ratcatcher or
Oh,
again
new character,
Ratcatcher number
new
two.
character.
Yes. I
Pretty
got
much.
her confused with I could have sworn there was a Batman villain or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, no,
called
that is
Rat
the Batman
King.
villain. That is the Batman villain.
Was it called? Was his name like Rat King or something? 'Cause
Ratcatcher, no, Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher.
Rat King is Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's what it was. I was thinking Rat King this entire time. It was
No, no,
me.
that's Ninja Turtles, where he lived in the sewer and he had all those bandages wrapped over him.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Oh,
a
hey,
big
hey,
Ninja Turtle fan.
it's okay, it's okay. All right, I'm a Ninja Turtle. Hey, at least you're not a hater like Tristan is.
Screw you, Tristan.
Hey, let's not go that far. I love the Turtles. I'm a huge Turtle fan.
Big Turtle fan. I have
Yep.
the first. I have the DVD of, I think, what is it, the 80s, the 90s cartoon?
Bit of both. It was the first season, the pilot season was in the 80s, and the rest were in the 90s.
Yes, so I have the pilot season on DVD.
Yep. Oh
And
yeah.
then-
I love
yeah.
and I love how each version is different, and that's
Yes.
intentional.
Yes, I love that so much.
Yep. But I gotta say, I plan on getting that Batman Ninja Turtles omnibus when it comes out. Even though I have all the books, I'm getting that omnibus.
I didn't know an omnibus was coming out, so
Well,
I
yeah,
already
all
have
three-
one
all
and
three
two.
minis. Oh, I have all the minis. Now, it's just the main minis. The Avengers is not going to be involved.
So maybe I need to get the Avengers then. Adventures.
Yeah, that's the one that's the Batman animated and the Nickelodeon 2012 series.
Oh, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the crossover one with that one.
I need to get that one too.
Oh, it's very good as well. But yeah, back to the movie though. But
So sorry.
no, hey, it's all right. Hey, we do tangents. I don't mind tangents. All right. I don't mind at all right? Besides, I don't think there's anyone else here right now, so it's just us talking to the wind.
Yes, the wind is fine.
Oh,
wind is
better the wind than a brick wall.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, though, but yeah, and all the other characters like Ratcatcher, loved her. I loved
her.
Sebastian.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, Sebastian was the rat. I literally just spoke about him today. So
I loved him. It was like,
I'm a rat lover, so I'm like, yes, this is my movie.
oh, I loved it. I loved him. It's just like, is that rat waving at me? Yeah, I think it is. Why is it doing that?
Sad. I felt so sad that they had to CGI the rat. And I'm like, but wait, rat.
Yeah,
but
how can you really get it that well done and have it wear a little suit or jacket?
I mean, it is actually very possible.
But that precise control 100% of the time.
Maybe 90% of the time.
Maybe, but still though, but yeah, you have that. I guess I love how Idris Elba was when he was afraid. It was like, and it's just like this badass is flipping out, and I love how Walter's like he's afraid of rats. What? I love how Waller was just completely like, why didn't you tell me? I'm an assassin. You think I'm gonna tell everyone my weaknesses?
I feel really weird about that Weasel.
Weasel. Oh, you know what? The funny thing is, all versions of Weasel has died, and it's in the first issues of Suicide Squad, their first missions. This is the first time where he survived.
Oh my god! I don't know if that was worth an after credit scene.
Poor Captain Boomerang.
Did he end his contract?
No, I have no idea.
Because I'm like, there's no way you would kill him unless he's like ending his contract or whatever. Because he's a recurring villain.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to go on? Who knows?
So I guess he's not going to be in the Flash movies.
Guess not. They might bring his son in.
Oh, I didn't know he had a son.
Oh, yep. Introduced after they killed when they in Identity Crisis, because that's where they were going to kill him off. Mostly because Brad Meltzer was asking Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns like, no, I got this thing planned. So Brad's like, how about I give you a new one? So yeah, but also I loved a lot of the background stuff like Kaleidoscope, Calendar Man, Double Down. Seeing all of those in the background at Belle Reve.
And I try so hard to look at the background, but I ended up
Calendar Man, you saw,
it.
right? You definitely made out Calendar Man. You know, the dates on his head.
No, I didn't. I don't remember at all.
Hold on. Yeah, it was right when they're trying to they're about to get out. You know, when we cut back 3 days.
Oh, the 3 days. The 3 days ago.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, yes, there was a guy with some stuff on his head.
Yep, that was Calendar Man. And behind him was Double Down.
Okay, so I've never heard of Double Down.
Double Down is a guy. Yeah, he's obscure. He's a guy. He's the reason why Ethan Van Sciver got a credit at the end.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I skipped over the credits. I was looking at all the Spanish people in the credits, and I said, "Oh, I'm so happy. I've never seen so much Spanish people credited in my life."
Hold on. Oh, come on. Hold on. Right there. There's Calendar Man. You see the dates on his head?
No, I don't see the screen.
Oh, it's not showing it?
No.
Oh, whoops. I know why. I know why.
Hello, Miller number 1.
What? You don't see it?
Okay, yes, I see it now.
Yep. And there's Double Down. You can tell by the spade.
Oh, so that's what it was supposed to be? I'm like,
There's a spade. Now, the reason why his face is that way is because apparently he has razor sharp cards under his skin. So every time he starts to pull them out, his skin kind of undoes itself.
So do they...
Right here. Here he is.
What kind of power is that? So
razor sharp cards.
So does he put them back in his...
Apparently, I've never seen how they put it back. I've always just seen them undone. And then, hold on, let me get to Kaleidoscope. That would be her.
Oh, I saw her and I went, oh my gosh, I love her colors.
Yeah, but yeah, she's Kaleidoscope. She's a Golden Age villain.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I love some of those stuff. It's just like, wow, talk about obscure.
I've honestly never seen so much men
that's
undergarment in my life in the movie.
That's part of why I'm hoping that James Gunn sticks around.
Mm. Well, what was that controversy about him again?
Oh, a bunch of his old jokes that were very, very like rape jokes, things like that. Very old jokes back during his days of when he was with what was that company? The company that's done stuff like Toxic Avenger and all that.
Toxic Avenger.
You ever heard of that movie?
It's a real movie?
Yes, it is. Oh, the Trauma Entertainment, doing some they're the type of stuff who really push the envelope and everything.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they've done a lot of movies. Tromeo and Juliet, Class of Nukem High, Cannibal the Musical.
I feel like I've heard that one before.
Yeah, they've done a bunch of that stuff. And like I said, it was it's basically he came around from that type of crowd back then, and so obviously a lot of stuff he had in the chat though he had since made very clear statements that he regretted those, but he never deleted them. So of course people brought him up. It's like, hey, look at this! Hey, look at this! Just because this was also right after the time when Roseanne got kicked off her show, her revival. So you have people on the other side being like, hey, you're a bunch of hypocrites!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they talk about we don't cancel people. Bull.
Okay,
Bullshit.
So I was talking about that with my cousin. I'm like, okay, so like, what's the context? Did he apologize? Because
hold on.
Yes.
Keep talking.
Because as a person who has some sort of experience with pedophiles, I'm like, I didn't like that joke.
Oh, wait. You do?
Yes.
Hey, I just tossed Ian an invite if he wants to join. Hey, Ian, you're welcome to join if you want.
Yes, please.
Yep, that would be the three of us again. But he's asking, are you guys excited for the Peacemaker TV show? I was until I saw this movie. Now I'm not so sure. I'm
open
to it, but I'm not as thrilled.
Take one guy out, put one guy in.
Yeah, and killing off Rick Flag.
Oh.
On. Hey, Ian. So, have you seen the movie?
Yes.
What did you think?
I thought it was really fun. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you
Yes.
perfectly loud and clear.
Okay.
But yeah, I put it up there. It's second to it's neck and neck with Wonder Woman. Like they're going back and forth until I've settled down, on where this is yet. Give it some time to settle in and all that. But right now, it's neck and neck for best DCEU movie anyway. As far as best comic book movie, it's in my top 5.
I would say, I mean, I'm very weird with my DC movie taste because I really like the Whedon cut. This is an unironic.
So I agree with you. I enjoyed the Whedon cut as well, mostly because it felt like, especially with Superman, that he was closer to the anime series.
Well, just to the core of Superman, to me.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite DCEU movies are Aquaman and Shazam. So I like more of the.
How about the first Wonder Woman?
I love the first half of Wonder Woman, but the second half, especially the end, really kind of falls apart for me. Especially
I can respect that.
I just really don't like the Zeus origin for Wonder Woman, and the second half kind of brings that in.
Me
and so
too.
I was disappointed.
Yes. Thank you.
But I'll say this: give me Zeus over Hercules, like the Earth's
Well,
one.
sure.
Oh yes.
Give me that over that any day. Because at least in that case, her mother made more of a choice than it was,
Yes.
Well, yeah, we were just. I don't know if you were paying attention. Sorry, no, keep going. Actually, finish your stuff. Finish what you thought.
I think that this is a lot more violent than I usually enjoy. But it was
so over the top. It was kind of fun.
Not so much that, but there was a real there was so much artistry. Now I am not a hater of the first Suicide Squad. I don't think it was a good movie, but I don't hate it. But this was clearly, just very artistic and creative in a way the first one wasn't. Well, I'd say the first half of the first one was actually really artistic and creative. The introduction of Enchantress was amazing in the first one.
It was the stuff when we get to the point where they heavily changed that the problems sink in.
Well, for me, it's just the last half of the movie just feels really predictable and narrow. And this movie, it feels big because, instead of a long chase movie, it is constantly changing up the directions characters are going.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of horizontal chasing in the first half. And then there's the tower, so it's up and down. So it's this very different spatial context. And then of course when Starro, are we doing spoilers or no?
Spoiler review. It's a spoiler filled.
Okay, so when Starro shows up, it just it feels so big, and that is the way. That's the way you should do a big CGI ending of a movie because it's an alien and it's not human, so it doesn't feel fake. Except of course when you have the hallucination of Polka Dot Man, which was awesome. But
even that should feel fake. That should feel fake because it's a hallucination.
But it's not like that Black Panther thing where it's you have two CGI Black Panthers.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started on that.
It just looks
you're
really
two
fake.
CGIs within a CGI environment. It's shouldn't they mesh, not stick out?
Yeah. So
you would think, right? You have two CGI characters against a CGI environment.
But they didn't have enough time to make the movement in Black Panther look right. Whereas here, all the movement is that's what I'm talking about with the artistry. You've got Harley doing her swan dive into the eyeball. Yes, of course it was CGI. There's no way they could actually do that. But it had a visual impact that those Black Panthers swinging around just didn't.
Or doing all the rats.
Oh, that was
the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
That's classic. I call it Brad Bird, but I'm sure there's older writers who did it first. But every character's power and every character's personality matters in the finale.
Now, go ahead and ask you, since you're between the three of us, you're probably the bigger Batman guy, right?
Probably.
So what did you think about Ratcatcher? Both of them in this one.
I mean, Ratcatcher it's not a villain that matters. It's sort of
you didn't mind him being made into a good guy?
Well, he didn't really make him into a good guy. I mean, he was still a drug addict who sort of led his daughter
But they still called him like Ratcatcher 1 when technically he never used his ability as Ratcatcher as far as we know.
Right.
So technically, shouldn't she be Ratcatcher 1 then?
Well, I think that was mostly because they wanted really to lean on both the idea of legacy and that this is a newer character. This isn't the character that...
True, because there was a female Ratcatcher that came out after Infinite Crisis, but they hardly did anything with her at all.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, because like
she appeared in some group
She appeared
shots.
in the recent next Batman stuff.
Well, we're talking about... We're not talking about recent. I'm talking about back after the original one died, when he was killed by the Omax.
Right, but like...
But I'm saying there was a new one.
Seen a female. They've used a female Ratcatcher recently.
Oh yeah, recently, yeah. But I'm saying even back then, after they killed him, replaced with a female one, but she was hardly ever used. She was just there in a group shot at one point, and that was it.
Not as good as the female. What's her name? The ventriloquist.
Yeah, but of course that was
Paul Dini.
Pre-New 52 female ventriloquist, not Gail Simone's.
Well. We don't talk about Gail Simone's second run of Secret Six.
But yeah, though. But now, what do you think about the stuff with not Deadshot?
Okay, so speaking of Gail Simone, she just did a whole thread about how she thought that Idris Elba was awesome, and yes, Idris Elba was awesome, but it was basically just Deadshot. Like
it
the
was.
motivation.
But to be fair, though, when you look at the one, Will Smith wanted to come back. They didn't want him killed off or replaced. He wants to come back.
Right, and
so they want to have the least amount of changes possible. And two, Bloodsport was never that good of a character.
No, Bloodsport was like a totally boring character.
It's either the original one or the white supremacist one, the second one.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, and the fact that he took the identity from a black guy was intentional. Then the two killed each other.
That just doesn't seem fun to me.
Well, the original one, the black guy, was created by John Byrne in his earliest issues of his Superman, of the post-crisis Superman, and then the other one came about later on after. Actually, I don't remember exactly when. I think it was not long after the return of Superman.
But I mean, I think that they played with the idea that so many of these, C or D level characters are often copies. Like the whole thing with Peacemaker and Bloodsport's introductions being the same, I thought was hilarious.
What did you think about Peacemaker?
So I am curious. Like I really enjoyed him. Like I
enjoyed him to a point.
I talked about him as evil Rick Flag. Like he's basically what happens if you have Rick Flag
or blind loyal Cap.
Right. Exactly.
Which I understand that, but I felt he still went too far. I think.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, okay. First, he showed remorse. When he showed remorse, I thought that was good. But then the moment he saw Chloe pick up the, Ratcatcher pick up the drive, and he just went like that. Remorse was right out the window. It's like, okay, yeah, no, this guy is completely. Especially when he says, When Chiba says, "Why do you have to kill me?" Because I'm very thorough. It's like, what does being thorough have to do with anything? You don't need. And once you get rid of the drive, it's her word against yours.
Well, so Peacemaker is an interesting character because I was worried.
Now, keep in mind, I'm used to Peacemaker from the Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes.
I haven't actually read that run. I need to, but
oh yeah, but that's a very different Peacemaker. This is an
I have the Rebirth one.
No, I'm talking about pre-Rebirth,
Ted Cord.
No, still Jaime. Still Jaime.
Oh, it's still Jaime.
The one right after Infinite Crisis, right?
Yes, that one. Yeah, because you had a much
John
older.
Rogers.
Yep. John Rogers, Keith Giffen, and then not Matthew Sturgis. Who was it Sturgis after? No, John Rogers mostly handled the Peacemaker stuff. That's right.
Anyway, I mean, I don't have any real connection to Peacemaker. Someone was mentioning, Peacemaker was in Multiverse, and I'm like, that was just comedian.
Pretty much.
Everyone in Multiversity was just the Watchmen characters, but they used the original Charlton character.
Which I like that as an experiment. I like that.
It's fine. I just don't think it's that interesting.
True.
Because I like Denny O'Neil Question. I don't really like seeing Question becoming Rorschach.
No, I don't think anyone really does.
So for me, Peacemaker is clearly insane. Like he has a real break in his ethical system, and he's not a sociopath, but he's also, he's like a combination of a pure idealist and
crazy,
the most vicious serial killer ever.
And that's very true. That's why it's like Captain America if you took out his good points.
Well,
And
he has
he wasn't
some of his
frozen.
good points. Like he's got his discipline, and
Yeah, I'm very thorough. That just felt like, no, if he was that close, he would have known deep down there's no need to do it so long as he has the drive. Like she said, you have the drive. Why kill me? It's like that. What? And again, when it was going to give out the drive, yeah, it could cause an international incident. All those reasons I understand. It's then the whole point, though. Then I'm like, you got it, smash it, do whatever. No one's going to believe her, or even if the rest of the team believes her, what's she going to do?
I mean, to me, that's the tragic flaw of a character like Peacemaker. He is, when I say he's insane, I mean that he is detached from reality. He cannot understand. So, to me, that was a tragic thing. It was,
but at the same time, though, I just thought it was just a little bit too far. Maybe not like right off the cliff, but like he's hanging from the cliff, kind of a thing. You get what I mean?
I do. Because I kind of feel that way about Amanda Waller. I feel like both of the
Amanda Waller.
I feel like both Suicide Squad movies have made her too stupid.
True. Although that's the other thing I would say here, though. Those two, now the only reason why I think those two survived at the end, those two staff members, because she knows they weren't the one that swung the golf club ball, golf club, because they were right in front of her. But I'm pretty sure that other woman's dead. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
I'm fairly certain she's dead.
Yeah, she has to be dead. I bet you the others ratted her. Like, but would you agree that's probably the reason why? Because those other two, they still help the squad, but they're not the ones who knocked her out. So that's why they got a lesser punishment. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, also, I think that I'm hoping that the show kind of goes into Amanda having an actually smart plan for once. Because
this was not a smart plan.
It wasn't a very smart plan.
Well, would you say it was? What would you compare this though to the first movie though?
See, that's the thing. The first movie, her plan was dumber because she was in the middle of the attack, like
where she was attacking the heart, or just like.
Well, no, it's the fact that
the
mission was to rescue Amanda. I'm just like sitting there being like, Amanda Waller never puts herself in danger like that. That's beyond stupid.
Yeah. Now this one though, her actions here, for the most part, felt very Amanda. I mean, the actual actions, like. It doesn't matter, you're just sending here for this one thing, sending Peacemaker and all that. That felt very Amanda. It was just that screaming or not filling a room full of loyalists for one. She should have, once they started questioning her even one moment, they're like, get out of here. I think she was way too lenient on her staff. Way too lenient on her staff.
Well, she was, but I think that was partly to make up for the fact that she was way too hard on her staff the first time.
True.
I mean, I really just I hate the fact that she slaughters every single one of her civilians in the first movie.
That's even that's something she wouldn't do. That is I think that's the only thing. I think they're continuing.
That's wasteful, And Amanda Waller is not wasteful.
Amanda's a well-intentioned extremist.
Yes.
She's not an evil supervillain. She never was.
And I feel like the first movie definitely kind of paints her as an evil supervillain, and this one doesn't quite.
It goes to it is closer to traditional Amanda, but not all the. She's still so, especially now her getting that fed up, and it's like that was right up there where no one screws the wall from the animated movie. You remember that?
I actually haven't seen the animated movie.
That bit you had CCH Pounder and all that. Basically, she's realizing they're trying to have their bombs, fried by Riddler. So when she rides it, she goes, no one screws the wall, just punches the button, and unfortunately that version of King Shark gets killed because his skin was too thick to take care of the bomb.
Oops.
Oh, that animated movie, right?
Yep. Oh, speaking of it, we didn't get to it. King Shark. I loved him in here.
He was real fun. I
thought I wasn't going to like him, but I ended up liking him. I'm like, oh, you're so adorable.
Except for when he tried to eat Brad Catcher. That felt out of everything so out of nowhere.
So much anxiety.
Well, but it was the first start. Like, you have to start from somewhere.
I thought he was going to betray her someday and just, eat her just because.
Yep.
My My one problem with King Shark was I feel like the evil jellyfish were unnecessary.
Yeah, having them be nice and playful were one thing. Then having them go and be like, nah, ooh.
Like I mean, it's a clever gag, but I've seen
No,
that.
there was a moment where you think they killed him for a brief moment because you see a big splurt of blood come out from the water.
Yes.
I think that was what it was. I think it was meant for that moment where you think for a moment he's dead.
But like, I don't know. It just felt inefficient. Like the movie was actually really efficient with the way it did its stuff, but that whole sequence.
If I could be honest, this I have to say is the most comic booky of the DCEU movies.
Most comic booky.
Okay, maybe Aquaman might have been the first, but
I'd say Aquaman and this.
But this amped it up.
Yeah.
And Shazam to a degree, but I think Shazam had a little bit too much in groundedness.
Yeah, Shazam. I mean, part of it
just a little, not a lot, but like a little bit grounded. But it still had that balance. I think though this took the comic bookiness of Aquaman and just amped it up. And if this is what they're going to do going forward,
equal, to me,
true. No, I mean, and the fact that James Gunn says they're trying to go for more comic book accurate, I hope that's true.
I mean, if you look at what he did, I mean, I was talking about this and on Discord, and someone's like, "Those costumes are so silly, but they look great." I'm like, James Gunn is not the kind of filmmaker who feels like you need to change something to make it cool, which is Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder feels like James Gunn is like, I'm going to take the goofiest, dumbest look and make it cool. And he does it.
Yep. I mean, I think the only exception would be Drax.
I don't know what Drax looked like originally.
Oh, he had a suit originally. Then they did go for his more shirtless look and everything. But, Dom just said, actually, I'll just show what he said. I agree with this.
I hope that it does well. I think
he's on the verge of doing very well.
I mean, DC's in such a weird place with the pandemic and HBO Max.
True.
I mean, I saw it. I do
not see it as doing as bad as Black Widow. I think this is going to keep going. I think word of mouth is going to be good enough for this.
I hope so. I mean, I saw Black Widow.
I mean, I didn't hate Black Widow either, but
I liked Black Widow too.
I think this movie, so the fact that I've seen it twice is one of the fact that I think a lot of people are going to want to see it twice. The one thing I'm getting a little annoyed of seeing is some of the usual crowd within this community saying it was boring at first. I'm like, how was it boring?
What? You had the detachable kid? You had Harley and Rick Flag?
The first 10 minutes were boring, they said. It's like,
what Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Well, that's the starting. It's just starting.
Exactly. So they're saying, "Oh, I'm giving up after 10 minutes." I see these people are wanting to complain, like those coming out about Why the Last Man, saying, "Oh, it's a woke show based off of a woke comic." You guys were defending that woke comic not long ago, a couple years ago, if I recall.
If you didn't think that Why the Last Man was woke, like you weren't paying attention. That comic is just really progressive.
No, but you know what I mean, though. I'm saying they were defending it, saying that, what I mean by that is they were defending, saying it was the right way type of doing it. Like, it was progressive, but it wasn't like the annoying wokeness of today. They were defending it. Now they're throwing out in a bunch because it's convenient to complain, or they have no idea what Why the Last Man is, and they're just going off of the premise.
It's the hot take culture. You know this.
I know, and it's getting worse. Ever the He-Man stuff is shown. The fact that you have so many more news that they can be talking about, like the Blizzard stuff and everything. But nope, the Clownfish and everything are all they want to talk about is He-Man. For videos every day still, every other day now about He-Man, and yet nothing about real news that's actually important.
Is it as bad as it was for The Last Jedi?
They keep saying it. In their eyes, it is. In my opinion, it was.
No, not the He-Man itself. I mean, because, I mean, my thing about Last Jedi is...
Yes, the reactions.
Yes, the reaction.
Oh.
It is. For them,
I hated Last Jedi, but I watched it once and said I hate it, and I was done. But, like, for, 6 months, everyone
by the way,
wouldn't
B,
shut
did you
up
finish
about
watching?
Mm-hmm.
Did you finish watching He-Man?
Who?
You, B. Did you?
Me? Oh, so... My sister wanted to watch something more He-Man oriented, so I'm like, okay, we'll watch the 2002 series, and I'll watch the first 5 episodes. I just didn't finish it, but since I'm free tomorrow, I'm binge watching it.
Okay, that's all I was asking.
I'm still excited to watch the rest.
I'm
sorry. I'll let you know. I'll text you.
No problem. I just wanted to know if you finished it or not. Because last time we talked, you only had the first episode. That's why I was asking.
Yes.
Robert is very lonely with his He-Man love.
No, I had Liana K on a while ago. I had enough.
No, I saw.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I feel just like with Tristan, I feel bad for people like her who give their opinion, saying you're welcome to your own opinion. No, you're not. No, it's like, what the hell, people?
I've been subscribed to Liana since 2006 or 7, and
yeah, and there's some opinions of hers I don't agree with, but for the most part,
no,
I agree.
Of course not.
But I agree with her on a lot of things.
She is willing to disagree. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I have very
strong. So long as you don't give her attitude, so long as you don't give her attitude, she won't give none back. Now, there are sometimes she might assume you're giving her attitude and be a little unfair once in a while, but it's not often. Usually if you catch her in a bad mood.
Well, I mean, if you see what goes on her Twitter, like...
Oh, yeah.
I saw, yeah.
You can understand why she sometimes has the shields up.
Yeah. But... And which again is completely understandable because I did a while ago where she made a comic book comment, I went into a bit further, and then she's like, "Oh, look at you!" I'm like, "Wow, what the heck?" But
that's online for you. It gets the best.
I know. Hey, quick question. I just want to ask you since I know where you stand on Jeff Johns, but I gotta ask: have you been checking out Geiger at all?
No.
It's the creative own book. It's good.
Yeah, I know.
And it turns out it's ending. The first volume is ending at issue 6, and then they're going to take a break to get more in the can. So they're doing it the season route instead.
This was Gary Frank or no?
Gary Frank, yeah.
Okay.
Which I gotta say, I've noticed it's kind of getting harder to tell the difference between Gary Frank and what's his name? Three Jokers.
Fabok,
Jason Fabok. Have you noticed that? It's getting kind of hard to tell, mostly because you have Brett Anderson, coloring both of them.
Yeah, I did see that.
I mean, there's still some differences, yes. But
has Geiger been like a consistent schedule? Have they been?
Yeah, every month, first week of the month.
Well, that's good. So I'm glad that they're taking steps to keep that, because that's my biggest complaint about Johns right now is like.
That's why I think they're doing the volume format, not a regular ongoing.
Well, I just hope that we're not looking at a Batman Earth 1 like break, because that was an insane break.
And by the way, here's Peter Tomasi's upcoming book, Snipe and Slug.
Who's doing the art?
Brad Walker.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically there's the Detective Comics team.
Interesting.
But yeah, like I said, the next issue, the last one's going to be a double-sized one and everything, and it's very interesting, especially the first issue. Mind if I give a little spoiler?
Go for it.
You're introduced to a guy named Geiger, all right? Basically, he's this guy who, right at the start of a war, bomb is about to go off. He's trying to get his family in there and everything. And
does he count?
What?
Does he count?
What do you mean, does he count?
This is a joke. Geiger counter?
No. No, but he gets radioactive.
Well, that counts.
Okay, but I was saying he's there, but then their neighbors are like, give us your thing. They slam it shut. He stays out there as the bomb goes off. And then we basically find out that, he's there waiting for his family are still in there. He's defending the bunker, waiting for them to come out, thinking they're still alive in there. Well, just a few issues ago, we just found out they died the day the bombs dropped. It turns out the bombs caused the ceiling to collapse.
That is very sad.
Yeah, but now he has these 2 kids he's taking care of. But then he found out one of the kids has leukemia, so...
Is this just Grave of the Fireflies for comics?
No. No, we don't know what's going to happen so far. But now that though, but also ends up with a lot of potential because part of nearby is Las Vegas, and it's actually one of the places that has a lot of people who are perfectly fine. And we get this big map. You think, it's going to be dealing with all these guys. Not really. Again, it's setting up the world, but that's the whole point. It's setting up the world. But yeah, again, I highly recommend it. Check it out, dude. All right, there's a lot of stuff in here, but basically, I feel like this whole volume's all entirely set up. And of course, ironically and funny enough, the last 2 issues so far, Stargirl ads, of course.
Stargirl.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
When does that next season come out?
August 10th, so a few more days.
Nice.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. But yeah, back to Suicide Squad. We're off topic.
Suicide Squad.
So, what did you think about them killing off Boomerang?
I mean, did he actually do anything in either movie?
Oh, people loved him. He was a fan favorite of the first one.
Not this fan's favorite.
What do you think about Harley in here? Do you think she was a step up from Birds of Prey?
Well, yes. I mean, okay, Harley wasn't bad in Birds of Prey, but
I agree
her
with
writing
that.
was so bad.
Yes.
Because, like,
I thought her action was great in Birds of Prey. I will say that. It's the John Wick crew, so what do you expect?
Well, the John Wick one, that wasn't for a lot of scenes in the movie, right?
Well, I'm saying mostly her. Yeah, it was mostly the stuff in the police station.
So I found it really weird that I was talking about this with my cousin during the movie. We whispered, "Don't worry," and I was saying the choreography for this Suicide Squad movie looks a lot better than the Birds of Prey movie, despite having a John Wick choreographer.
Again, that was just for the police station.
Mm-hmm,
well, so here's what I have to say about Harley and action in Birds of Prey. The police station is, I mean, you can tell it was choreographed by the John Wick guy.
Both from the moment she walked in to the moment they left the evidence room.
And that was probably the most fun you have in the movie that isn't Huntress.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, Huntress.
The final... I mean, I'm a sucker for Huntress.
Yeah, but the final
and I think
fight
they did her
with a completely different choreographer.
The final fight with the hands, and it was very badly choreographed.
The constantly moving camera and everything.
Well, it wasn't the camera, it's just the fact that it looked stupid and they didn't have enough time to make people look good.
Yeah. Oh, Diamond just brought up killing off Flag. What did you think about that? Did you? I expected him to survive.
I was very sad, but I mean, he went out a hero, and the fact that Harley and Bloodsport were both sad about it, I thought was fitting. Like he was a man remembered by his friends, so I thought it was good.
Yep. So they're not like Milton, who everyone forgot.
Yes.
Although I can say that in that bit with her, like, okay, Milton, that's not my name. What are you talking about? I'm like, Harley.
I have no idea why Milton went with him.
Yeah,
why are you going?
Because I think he felt he wanted to do some good in this fight. I think that's what he felt like.
I'd be like, heck no.
But Polka Dot Man, what did you think about Polka Dot Man in this?
I love Polka Dot Man.
He was great. And the stuff with him, I'm like,
I didn't realize he'd been in like every single universe ever.
He was only part of Suicide Squad once, and that was Injustice.
Yes, but
he's been dead since...
I'm talking about the actor. The actor was in Dark Knight, and he was in one of the MCU movies, and and Gotham. Like, this guy
is... one of those type of acts. By the way, you do know that Polka Dot Man's been dead since Final Crisis Aftermath's run, which focused on Human Flame.
Really?
Yeah, I just looked it up. He has not appeared. I don't know if he's appeared even in New 52 or Rebirth.
Well, please tell me at least that the Condiment King is still alive.
Yes, I think he's appeared before.
Condiment King is too hilarious to be dead.
Yep. But, Dominic says, Bloodsport was a complete distinction from Deadshot. I would agree. I think there was enough differences for him. I mean, the rat phobia, for one, which I loved Alba. He's this badass who once he sees a rat, I'm like, I love that. It's like normally something like that could totally ruin the character. But the way Alba did it, he had that right bit of how much you think a badass would react. Wouldn't you agree? Like, it wasn't like, it didn't go like a complete girl, just like a startlement every time he said, like,
But I also like the fact that they paid it off with the end.
Oh, yeah, at the end.
Where he pets the rat, and he's like, oh.
I love that so much.
By the way, the fact that they actually spared Weasel for once.
He's
always died. He's always died.
I knew he wasn't dead, though.
Well, it's Sam Gunn, of course. Oh, we were asking, and B and I were talking about this earlier. What did you think about Calendar Man and being in this?
I thought it was great. I was like, ooh, I know that guy.
I thought Polka Dot Man was going to kill him after he got mocked. Yeah, you know what I mean? I thought he was going to kill him, but I'm glad he's still alive. What do you think about the fact they had Double Down and Kaleidoscope?
I didn't notice those ones because I don't recognize them.
Double Down was the guy right behind Calendar Man. Yeah, Calendar Man. He's the one that had a spade on his face.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, I don't actually recognize him from the comics, so.
Yep, and then Kaleidoscope was
There was a woman with like different colors.
I actually.
Who was clapping?
I actually came in to the stream when you were discussing that, so.
Okay. All right, but yeah, that's the reason. But it's because of Double Down. The reason why Ethan Van Sciver has a credit because he co-created him with Jeff Johns.
Oh, is that why he was on there?
That's the only reason. Was because of Double Down.
Okay. I was really wondering because, like,
it's all because of Double Down because he was a background character.
I need to see who is on the thing again. Let me see.
Yeah, let me get that list loaded up. Hold on. Because Bleeding Cool actually did a telling who, what, and why someone was on there for what reasons.
Okay, so obviously John Ostrander, Ross. Andrew,
who was in there? Who was one of the guys putting the bombs in?
Yep, he's the one who said "good dog." That was hilarious. I don't recognize a lot of these people. I actually do know Federico Dell'Ochio, but mostly because of other stuff. I think did he do the kicked in the teeth art?
I think so. Okay, here it is. The 47 comic creators synced in Suicide Squad. I'm going to post it in the chat so you got in the private chat.
Yeah, so Federico Dell'Ochio
there you go.
Was the artist for Kicked in the Teeth. Gardner Fox, of course, is the classic creator of just so many people.
Ross Andrew, co-creator of the original Suicide Squad and Rick Flag. Ed Benes, co-creator of Savant. Brian Boland, the Justice League 190 cover with Starro possessing the crowd that they must have took inspiration from. Tom
Grummett, classic artist from the 80s and 90s, and still working now.
Yep.
Bob Kanigher.
Bill Finger for Polka Dot Man and Calendar Man. Scott Eaton for Mongal. Oh boy, Mongal.
That was one of the places where I'm like, that went a little too far. Like her death was like,
but it's better than what the leaks were saying, which was she was sliced in half by the propeller.
It was really intense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Steve Lytle.
Dominic said he wished
Gail Simone, of course.
He wished King Shark was more like himself from the comics.
King Shark has been so many different things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the cartoon where he's like weird neighbor dude. You've got Gail Simone where he's just like, I like to eat everything.
Yep. But yeah.
I'm really excited about the upcoming Tim Seeley comic. King Shark.
It's out if you have DC Universe Infinite.
Oh, really? I do. I need to see.
Yes, it's right there. It's first issues digital, right there, just like the Harley and Ivy comic.
Let me see.
Right there on the front page. And it's Scott Collins artwork. I love Scott Collins.
Oh yes, I'm excited about this. I'll have to read this later. But
I
love what's her name? Sean Defacer. Defacer from the Nightwing comic. So I think Tim Seeley's going to make this both really funny and a lot of heart. So I mean, kind of like the movie. So I think he's a great choice.
But still, but what's the other characters like Savant? Whoa, talk about a waste of a character.
Well, but like Savant was clearly
set up to be the badass and becomes a coward.
Well, he's the kicked in the teeth version.
True.
Because that's exactly what happens to Savant in Kicked in the Teeth.
I remember who Savant is.
He's the guy with the ponytail at the beginning of the movie who kills the bird, and then the bird picks his brain out when Waller blows his brain.
Yeah, the Michael Rooker character, Michael Rooker's character. Which you knew it was a case where he's going to be a cameo, but and then double what's his name? The guy who betrayed him.
Pete Davidson.
Pete David. That was Oh, come on! What? Who was he? They don't even. They're not even within the characters they created. They're not even crediting that character. What the heck? Blackguard. What an idiot!
But who cares?
Yeah, he did. And
He's
Javelin,
like, bullet to the face. I'm like, oh, good. I don't have to watch it.
And then Javelin, the whole point was just to get Harley the Javelin.
But that was great. Like, that was, I don't know. I thought that was a really fun little arc for Harley.
Now I have a question. Do you think that this is taking place after Birds of Prey and there's just something that we just don't know what happened off screen or what? Because the whole point about, her like, I made a decision, the whole like I'm looking for red flags. That feels like something that would come out of Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I would say it does feel like it's after Birds of Prey.
But no mention of Cassandra or anything.
I don't want them to mention Cassandra.
Oh yeah,
because that was Cassandra.
Yeah, my only way for them to fix that would be is if they actually got a writer who knew what they were doing. Would have it be that there's memories locked away in her, like. The way she's been acting was because she's had mental blocks. And then have it be that something starts to slowly awaken those, and as she does, she becomes more and more quiet and starts to become more of an ass kicker. Like, she can start to kick, like maybe have it be if we go with Gotham City.
But you just basically made her into Azrael.
True, but I'm trying to go with, something that can revert her from this Cassandra name only to, Oh, Dominic's asking, what did you see about Javelin's weapon at the Chekhov's gun? It was so blatantly obvious. Oh, by the way, what did you think about Thinker? For the Peter Capaldi, he killed it. He killed it.
I mean, it was good. It wasn't like a big part, but it was good.
Yeah, I think Capaldi killed it. I thought he killed it. He was great.
Is it possible I can ask you guys a question?
Okay.
Of course.
So I've been hearing a lot about Starro, the Destroyer.
Conqueror.
And so when he came into the movie and he had his own title and everything on the screen, I was thinking, wait, how much longer is this movie? Are they going to cut it up here and you would have to watch it the next movie to see how it affects, the planet or something? But then they ended up continuing and killing him off there. Do you think it would have been better something what I was saying, or do you
I think Starro was one, they don't want to end on a cliffhanger. These things have to be self-contained. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome, but there's no way they're doing this as a to be continued. This felt, especially when they were setting up the Javelin and everything, there's a lot of stuff in here that would have been like, if they just ended it there, that would have been a horrible place to end it.
The other problem is that this version of Starro is much more destructive than most Starros, because most Starros can control you, but you can survive it. These Starros,
this one kills you no matter what.
Kills you right away. So
because, the moment you take it off.
Yeah, you have to kill this Starro. Like, it's not possible.
That and also the fact that now I gotta say though, do you think he was being truthful when he said, "I wish I preferred being out in space," making it seem like he didn't want to do this, or do you think? And that the whole Starro the Conqueror was just something that Tinker gave him, or do you think this was a case where because there's a case where why I would call bullshit on it because
to me it was like in Pirates 1 where what's
Jack,
the main
Barbossa
when Barbossa gets shot and like his whole thing throughout the entire movie is he wants to feel because he had taste the feeling and
cold.
So he feels cold and he dies. Like I thought that was that kind of line. So I think it was, I mean, he's been tortured for the last, 50, 60 years, but he's still like a super evil character. So like,
oh yeah. So especially the fact that he took over the Americans on board and yet still let himself get captured. Although, You want to know one detail I like that they never utilized? The limestone. When you had Peacemaker and Rick fighting, or whatever it was that they got tossed into fertilizer or whatever.
Oh,
that's the type of stuff that weakens, Starro.
Ah, yes.
So I love that. It's a little detail. You're like, oh boy, they must have used that to torture the poor thing.
Oh,
Poor
I
thing.
didn't know that.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what I meant.
I think that the one real note that I came away with being like, other than Amanda being kind of stupid, is that I really wish that the experiments had been a Soviet thing, because I feel like we already had the first movie being America's government doing stupid stuff. Like, this felt like a rehash. And so I was like, this is old enough that it could be the Soviets. So why not let it be the Soviets?
True, but the idea of MAB was, well, one, you needed a reason for Walter to send them there.
It would still cause an international incident. Like, Peacemaker...
But Peacemaker would still... I think it's also the fact that Peacemaker would... I don't think, even though if it would cause an international incident, I don't think he'd be upset about it unless it was America.
No, I mean, the idea of Peacemaker is he's willing to kill a man, woman, and child for peace. He doesn't say America. He does talk about freedom, and he's clearly an American agent.
You're right, for peace, but it's but they made it very clear. He's Captain America with blind loyalty. I think they wanted to keep the American portion just more there, but without saying it.
I just think it was a rehash of the first movie in a lazy way.
True, but what did you think about the fact that her staff turned on her like that?
They will die.
Well, I think that was a setup for the TV show.
Yep, you know what I know was a reoccurring thing?
Because those characters are going to be in the TV show.
Yep, but you want to know a reoccurring motif I realize is? The line everyone doesn't want to cross except Waller is kids. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Everyone but Waller would not cross the line at kids. Harley wouldn't. They kept bringing that up. You crossed the line at kids. You crossed the line at kids. Yes. You crossed the line at kids.
All the time. I'm like, how many times is this?
It took me a moment to realize that when the woman said it, I'm like, that's it. That. Did you catch that at all? Ian? Did you catch that? What I just said. Did you catch that at all when you were watching it? It was the reoccurring motif of, no one, except for Waller, no one crosses the lines at kids. Or everyone crosses the line, everyone stops short of harming kids. Like, that's the point that causes them to be like, there's kids.
Yeah.
Like, Harley didn't. Clearly, Bloodsport and the staff didn't. Yeah.
Well, that was actually a really nice moment on Harley's part. Like, I think that was so creative and bold for Harley to kill the dictator in the middle of the movie. I thought that was a really cool choice.
Yep. Although, then why did the replacement have to kill the birds?
Because, these are cartoonishly evil villains.
Yep. But I do like that they didn't forget about the rebellion and all that stuff. And we're taking over. And that's the last we see of them. But it's like, they just wanted to wrap that up. You know what I mean?
I'm not too tired.
What?
Okay. Oh, that was my sister.
But,
I'm so sorry. I wanted to say that's why I asked you about the controversy. Because I'm like, okay, this movie talking about children way too much, and I started getting uncomfortable. Weasel ate 27 children. Sorry, you crossed the line of children. Sorry, but what about the children? And I'm like, there's women and mothers and fathers being attacked by Starro. We're only focused on the children.
I do not think that was intentional on Gunn's part.
My cousin was thinking maybe it's like some sort of mocking or sarcasm because of what happened. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think it might have influenced it and it made it reminded Gunn people will jump at that when it comes to kids. But I think it was more a case of that's a universal thing. Well, for the most part anyway. Obviously, there's some people you question that these days on the internet, but for the most part, I think this was done more or less to, like I said, was because it's a universal thing.
So sad they didn't think about the mothers or the fathers, especially since they were talking about fathers of Bloodsport.
True. But But now as far as now again with Polka Dot Man and his mother, I gotta say I love that from Bloodsport. That's your mom.
That was classic.
Giant virgin. Oh yeah, like where's your mom now? Right in front of me. Gah! And then when he's dancing.
I was telling my cousin, this woman better get a big paycheck because she's been in this movie for so many times as multiple versions of herself, and it's fantastic.
I have to wonder how much of those were actually her and how much of them were grafted over, because some of them look like they were grafted. Like King Shark had to be grafted on. There's no way
he looks like it.
That had to be a grafting on. But by the way, what'd you see about the effects for King Shark? I thought they were damn good.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, they were amazing.
The effects in this movie were pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, him, Weasel. Although Weasel, I think, felt like it was more complicated for CGI because of, how skinny it was. Like, I feel like when they're bigger, you can kind of animate them a bit easier because you don't have as much movement. When you have one as skinny as Weasel, you gotta,
I think
he did look like a werewolf, honestly.
I think it's also, Weasel just wasn't in it very much, so they didn't spend as much time, thankfully. Because, like, what would he have added? Not a whole lot.
Eating children.
Yep. Now, also
like
with
how
Polka Dot Man
wants to eat everybody.
Yep. Again, with Polka Dot Man, though, I just really liked so much about how it felt like he's suicidal, and yet at the same time he's starting to become like a good guy because of what his mother tried to do to her. Which once he explained, I'm like, man, fuck her! Wow. You know what I mean? That she wanted to make us superheroes and all that. I'm like, wow. But like I say, the makeup effect when his face would swell up, I'm like, ugh.
Oh.
But
well, at least he doesn't have to puke him out anymore.
Yep. Well, yeah, he's dead.
Is what he wanted all along.
True. But yeah, I'm a superhero.
I felt so sad. I was like, "You're actually gonna live," and I'm like, "Wait, I spoke too soon. Dang it! I actually liked you."
I know, but again, by the end of it all, and then using the hard drive to strong arm Waller, you knew that was coming. I think that was the most obvious thing, that the whole point of that hard drive ended up being was the way to make sure Waller doesn't kill them when they get back. Would you agree with that? Like that was the whole point of that hard drive?
I've totally forgot
in the end, it ended up being the whole point.
For a hard drive.
I still think that whole thing was one of the weaker parts of an otherwise good movie.
True. I mean, for one, that drive should have been fried anyway from all the dust and everything.
Yeah.
Or just being dropped as much as it was. I know hard drives, they don't like being dropped. Even when you take them out of the shell, they don't like being dropped like that.
Oh, I thought it was established at the end after they killed Starro that he lost it.
No. He didn't lose it. He uploaded it onto another drive that will release if anything happens to them.
Oh, so that's what he did. I was confused about like, wait, what did he do? How did he get it again?
And he uploaded it and just gave her a sample saying, "This is to prove it. I have it on another drive, probably thanks to the freedom fighters. And basically, like, if anything happens to us, it's going public."
Nice.
Yep. Now, I also liked how Harley was dressed here. She wasn't as provocative as she was in Suicide Squad, the first one, but she was nowhere near as whatever the heck she was wearing in Birds of Prey.
Oh my gosh. That was so ugly.
Yeah, I thought her first outfit was good because it was right from the comics, and then her dress showed off just enough.
I mean, she was about to get married off for whatever. So, like, and she's like,
I
feel like a princess. And then they put the sad music, and I'm like, wait, am I about to cry just because she said I feel like a princess? I don't even like Harley Quinn. Why are you making me have feelings?
I mean, so there wasn't a moment where it's just like, I'm taking my shirt off to show my underwear, like in the first movie.
Yeah. Although I still always love the fact that even the ladies were looking at her.
I don't know. I just thought Harley was done really well. She
the 69 giggling. That was
yeah.
I was hoping she would say 420 next.
Well, but like I think that not just like the acting and the writing, but like the way they filmed her, like the flower sequence, of course, is her shining moment.
loved
And
that.
Oh yeah. It's like basically what's going through her head.
But isn't there a video game where you can do that?
Yeah, some games,
Okami?
yes. Okami, I think, yeah.
Okami, when you run, there's flowers, a field of flowers that runs behind you. I have the game, so that's the only one I know.
I think there's other ones too. I just don't remember.
Isn't there a confetti mode on Halo or something?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
And there's also the famous, well, I think it's famous. It's a viral short by Freddie Wong called Flower Explosion or something, where you shoot and wherever the bullets land, there's flowers growing. So
right. Oh, by the way, B, it looks like Tristan is going for a Sunday stream, like I told you about.
Yay! I see her email, so I did let her know that I'll let her know my schedule to see if I'm free. I got free last Sunday, which never happens anymore.
So hopefully, just so I let you know, because I just saw that.
Oh, thank you so much. You two have been such a great help.
Yep. Hey, anything to help another person who's trying to, the fellow fan or the fellow sane-headed fan.
Wait, are you saying that B is not going around constantly complaining about how this or that is the worst because it doesn't agree with me?
I've been reading Wonder Woman Dead Earth right now, and I remember it got so much hate because of how the art was. My cousin bought it for me for Christmas, like the entire thing.
I'm not a huge fan of the artwork, but the writing is good.
The writing was fantastic. After the first chapter, I was almost crying at work because I was reading it on my break, and I'm like, this is Wonder Woman, like saying how she loves everybody and just because, like, she's so long.
Wait, have you finished it?
I think I'm almost done. I'm halfway. I'm already.
Okay, so you have not got to the part of what she does to Superman's corpse.
I did. I saw it.
Very gnarly.
That was the most awesome thing I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
I'm a big Superman. I'm a big Superman fan, so that felt like a bit of a disgrace.
I'm sorry.
I understood what they were going for there.
No, so do I, but
I was angry.
It was just very gnarly.
She was uncontrollable because of her bracelets.
Oh no, which is an interesting take on things.
I did like that. She had to submit for the bracelets to work was fascinating.
But it only works if you go with the new 52 version.
That's true. But this one is Elseworlds, yeah?
Elseworlds, but it's still taking elements from New 52 is what I'm saying.
It's taking elements from whatever it wants, because that's the great thing about Elseworlds.
Very true, but again, it was still very interesting. The fact that Diana's the one who caused it, which I'm like, thankfully it wasn't men who did it, and then the Amazons are going nuts again. That's why people were saying how woke it was. It's like, not really.
I think the art, even though it's not my taste, was really just impressive because of how much work. Like, you can tell there was love in the art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I loved it so much. I'm like, no, I know you're doing something with this. I feel it, and that's why I love it. And I'm like, why is nobody feeling the same way?
Hey, I agree with that as well. I do feel that way about the artwork. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Oh no, that's completely fine too.
Oh, by the way, Ian, did you see the video Tristan and I did where I was her expert and we were talking about the 5G timeline?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. You want to know what point that I was mostly fine up until we got to the 90s. Then I started to lose. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, No Man's Land happened the same year as Superman and Lois' marriage? What?
Wait a minute. I thought Superman and Lois got married in like 96.
This is them condensing things. But they'll never be,
in the timeline?
Yeah, the timeline.
That's so stupid. You should.
But you wasn't that stupid. Lex becomes president. Public Enemies happens the same year. He was ending his term when Public Enemies happened.
Okay, that just doesn't make sense.
Does that mean what? Does that mean they had to condense our world at war into that year too?
Probably. But we don't have to worry about it because Dan Didio got fired.
True, but I will say though, and I don't know if you saw Tristan's interview with Dan Jurgens. He stated how he likes the idea of a timeline, of which I do agree.
There's nothing wrong with the idea of a timeline. It's just this specific timeline.
Yeah, this specific one, like the one they did for 0 Hour, and he even said it took as much time to work on that as it took for the whole mini.
I bet.
But for this one, I can see where they were going. But the picture would be initially there was a 5-year age gap between Superman and Batman. Okay, that's fine. Superman should be older by a little bit. But then by the time of the 90s, for some reason, it changed to a 3-year gap.
Okay.
Yeah, and they didn't come up with the linear verse. This was just meant to be the definitive timeline. And you're like, but that's not consistent. Now you're having to beat that to the 3-year.
We lost B.
Uh-oh. Hold on. So you must have got booted. Well, I'll wait for her to start coming back. But you know what I'm talking about, though, right? It's just...
I looked at the timeline, and I will admit...
Oh, she's getting a charger. She's getting a charge for the laptop.
Oh, okay. I will admit, I am a petty fan, and I am mad because they completely deleted Stephanie Brown's time as Batgirl and Spoiler. Like, she's Robin, but now she's not anything else. And I'm sitting here thinking...
I know, that made no sense. It's like, wait, what? Wait, what?
That was very
confusing. My only guess is that they just skipped it. I don't think they were intentionally,
Given Dan Didio, I never assume they skipped anything. I think it's always very on purpose. Because he has an unreasonable hatred for Stephanie Brown.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe his girlfriend said that Stephanie was hotter than she was or something.
Oh. I don't know. But yeah, just waiting for her to come back. But I got asked. I don't know if I asked you before. What did you think about Generations?
I like the first one.
On a story on its own.
I like the first one. I didn't actually read the second one because by the time we got to the second one, I was really burnt out on alternate futures and alternate timelines with Future State because I tried to read a lot, not everything, but a lot of Future State, and so I was just like,
yeah, but that technically wasn't Future State though.
No, I know, but like the whole concept of alternate timelines and mishmashing timelines, I was just like, I want to get back to the normal timelines, which is why I actually didn't read any Infinite Frontier until last week. So I was like,
oh, so you finally got down and read it, huh?
Yeah.
So what have you thought of it?
I thought it was fun. It feels small for an event. Like we're halfway through.
I think this is a lead-in for an event.
Yeah, but like
it's setting the stage.
I don't want the Eternal event.
No, same here, but
I will say this: at least it's not like Year of the Villain, where it's like messing up other titles.
Right. I will say this though: at least they are. It feels like they are slowly setting the rules a little bit. Like when Captain Atom shows up, and turns out, oh, the Captain Atom we thought was restored turns out was from another Earth. And then he's dead. And yet now we're seeing Chase again. Like, wait, did she die? What happened? Why is she back?
Mysteries.
But I still say it's one of the dumbest things. I thought Bendis was getting better, but then he had to introduce Lois having a brother. And that's the one thing I will give. I will say this. Tom Taylor, say what you will about how he shoehorned in giving Dick a sister. At least it was more faithful and he tried to make it make sense. As opposed to Byrne, who just steamrolls it.
I mean, I don't like either one.
But between the two, though, I'm saying between the two, one person tried, the other one didn't even give a fuck.
I would agree that Taylor is working harder to make his creation matter, whereas Bendis just expects you to accept that it matters. And
even though you would know, if you're a Superman reader, you would know. Wait a second. This goes completely against everything with Sam Lane. Everything.
Yes, but Sam Lane's dead now, so it doesn't matter, right?
Except it does matter still, especially the fact that Lois is taken so nonchalantly. Like, oh, you met my brother, huh? So he is your brother. It's like, how did she find out?
You must understand, Robert, that Bendis is being additive to the mythology.
No, he's not. It's that additive in that way where it's like, I'm adding it, deal with it.
No,
Although
I
will
agree.
say-
I'm making fun of it. I think it's stupid.
I will say this though, I am surprised now by the twist in the Suicide Squad.
I actually haven't read past the second issue.
And the leather jacket Superboy we've been following has shown up.
Oh yeah, I did hear about
what the heck's going on with the more pre-New 52 Superboy, where it was just a shirt and slim down hair and everything. What's going on? I'm like, okay, that was a nice twist. I'll say it, I will sooner keep going with Suicide Squad than I will with Teen Titans Academy. I am giving it until this Shazam mini.
Oh, okay. So that's something I wanted to talk about. So I think last time I was on the stream, I was really upset about Shazam.
Yeah.
Because I hate Teen Titans Academy. I hate that book so much.
What did you think about Shazam #1?
Surprisingly, I actually enjoyed it. Like, I still do not like the concept of losing powers and the family losing powers.
Oh, and especially with Freddy. What the heck's going on with? Why is he dying? He was never dying.
But the thing I hate about Teen Titans Academy is it's obnoxiously smug and hip. Shazam is not smug and hip. Shazam is trying to tell a sincere story, and I appreciate that.
Right. But at the same time, no, just so much of it doesn't make sense at all.
It's just the first issue.
Yeah, but just some of the stuff that's implied, and it's like, why is Billy be treated like a student? Did he ask to be treated like a student? He is more experienced than anyone else there. Things like that.
I don't know. I guess I was just going in expecting to hate it, and so I surprisingly thought it was.
Now, do you think they're going to tie into the stuff from that Future's End shit?
I did not read that Future's End on purpose.
Yeah, because eventually at some point was the Black Adam one. It ended up in hell, but it is from the future. But at the same time, maybe that somehow caused it.
Well, but have you noticed that most of the future state stuff seems to be happening right now? Like,
I know.
I think Fear State is actually going to be what future state is. Like, they're moving everything that happened in Fear State forward to Fear State.
Now here's a question. You've probably seen Purchase video. Do you really think that they're not going to do these big replacements at all? Or do you think, and like he said, there's 4 books with Bruce and only 1 with Jace.
And nobody cares about the one with Jace.
Yeah, but do you think
at all?
But do you think they're going to be like a screw you guys and still change it anyway?
No, because Tynan is selling like gangbusters on Batman. And Tynan is not particularly interested in writing Jace.
Really? Are you sure? Did he said that?
Am I sure? Yes, because he isn't. If Tynan wanted to do something, he would do it.
But why did they want to they're trying to still groom Ridley?
Because isn't Ridley doing some kind of film for him?
I don't know about them doing a film.
I thought
I know that he did. He got an Eisner nomination.
I thought he was hired to do film, like a screenplay for them.
I don't know, but that's one thing though. The fact that now they have confirmed that he was originally going to do Luke. Why is this hatred for Luke now all of a sudden now that he's not using him?
That does really disappoint me.
You know what I mean? He was originally going to do Luke and he was going to be the definitive Batman. And yet now that he's not, what, did he realize Luke was boring or something and that Jace was more...
Luke is not boring.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm saying in his mind. Or do you think it was like a case where he probably realized Jace is more of a blank slate for me to do whatever I want than Luke is?
I honestly think that's more it. I think he was like, I want my creative freedom.
Yeah, and he got it, but it's like, now I'm going to dump on Luke and possibly kill him off.
And I agree with you, Dominic. Tynan is a fan, and so he very much sees himself as a fan, so he's not going to be disrespectful.
Definitely. That's why it bothers me when so many people keep on thinking, oh, he's this, oh, he's that. It's like, where? Now, I will be fair, his girlfriend helping him being there in the backup stories for Joker is inviting trouble. because she does come off like that type of person who's almost like, oh, if he doesn't get her promotion, she's going to warn Alice's ass.
Really?
Have you seen her, some of her tweets? But
I don't follow her on Twitter. I just follow him.
I've seen a bit of it.
I don't know.
She kind of gives that vibe of I'm this uber, lefty and everything.
I mean, everyone who works at DC is a big lefty. Except maybe Dan Jurgens. Maybe.
Oh, Jurgens. Oh, did you see her Trish's interview?
No.
Oh, check it out. It was so good.
I love Jurgens, and I'm so excited that he's
but yeah, I think I would say that I think Tynion's more of he's left, but I think he's closer to moderate than others.
Well, here's my perspective on Tynion. I think Tynion...
Look at it, obviously, look at Department of Truth.
I think he's a big lefty, but he is more interested in storytelling.
I'm back.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. Yeah, he's more interested in storytelling, but at the same time, he's not one of those who will let his politics dictate his storytelling. Like, he will use the politics on either side for his story.
Yeah. I mean, he's writing my favorite title on the shelf right now, which is Joker. And Joker is very much about the dangers of extreme wealth. And that's obviously tends to be a much more lefty position. But
but when you look at Department of Truth, though, that is taking pot shots at all sides.
I have not read either Department of Truth or Something Skilled with Children, just because I don't really do horror.
Well, I'm saying Department of Truth is not horror.
Really?
It's more conspiracy.
Okay, well, maybe I'll try it out, because I got the vibe that it was, like, really horror.
No, not horror at all. Just real conspiracy theorist stuff.
Okay.
Oh, Jurgens and the Simonsons are one of the several people who are enjoy. Yep. Oh, by the way, guess who's coming to Motor City Comic Con? That got me excited.
Snyder.
And Capullo.
Have you not met them before?
I've met Snyder, but I've not met Capullo.
Ah. Well,
but also it would be nice to see Snyder at a local, smaller con.
That's
where
true.
I'm more likely to go over and talk to him compared to bigger cons where they're guaranteed huge lines. Motor City is one of the ones where, yes, there'll be big lines for the comic pros, but they're mostly going to go for the celebrities.
Isn't Snyder a celebrity at this point, though?
Compared to, say... Now, you know what the one surprise for a celebrity that I'm surprised they got, given the controversy? John Barrowman.
Who's that?
Captain Jack from Doctor Who.
Oh, that guy.
I'm surprised, given the controversy with him.
I don't like that guy.
Well, I've met him a few times. He's a very nice guy.
He can be, but he's also very inappropriate.
Oh, that's why I'm saying about the controversy. That's why I'm surprised. David Yost is going to be there. Jim Cummings is going to be there.
Oh,
smaller cons are definitely very fun.
Yep, they are very fun. Hold on, I'm just loading up right now. Hold on, give me a moment.
They're starting to do cons in Minnesota again, but unfortunately, they're not doing anyone I really want to go see.
Oh, Dom, the controversy. You tell him about the controversy, Ian.
So Barrowman has been accused of exposing himself on set as a joke. So not as part of like a scene. So that's I would consider that sexual harassment, and I think that's gross.
Well, here are the comic pros. You have Andy Price, the My Little Pony artist, Liam Sharp, Greg Capullo.
Liam Sharp.
Yep. And
I really want to meet him, especially now that he's doing Batcat.
Wait, Batcat?
Yeah. Did you not hear? He's doing 3 issues of Batcat to let Clayman catch up.
Really? I thought he was all caught up.
No.
And then you have, of course, but he still has Reptilian to do.
Oh, I think he's done with Reptilian. That's a mini, and I think that's been done for a while.
Oh, but yeah, here are the other ones. You have Breckin Meyer, David and Kushner, David Yost, Jim Cummings.
Oh, Dennis Lawson.
Yep. Mario Lopez, Nolan North.
No, but Dennis Lawson is clearly the biggest star.
Well, wait, we're not. We still have a couple months away. This is just what we've got so far. So yeah, I mean, then we have, you know, when you have Artist Alley, they have some of the other ones. You have, I doubt you've heard of any of these people. These are all local. Most of these are locals.
No, not recognizing these ones.
Of course, there's Gray, again, including the other ones in there as well. But the only one I recognize more so is Jay Fosgett. But again, he did some of the Pony comics.
Huh.
Again, most of these are locals or within the general couple states area.
I just hope that we don't have crazy lockdowns that cancels everything.
Oh, me neither. That's what I'm really hoping against. I think a lot of people are really begging them, like, don't.
Well, it's really going to depend on state and federal authorities at this point.
Yep.
So.
But yeah, though, still. Now, but again, like, let's just, one thing with the band with Suicide Squad, though, do you think this is going to have as much of an influence on the comics as the first one did?
Well, DC's clearly trying to catch the wave if they do with this King Shark thing, and I think that's real smart.
Mm-hmm. Especially this is closer. They're going to give him a girl. What's her name? What you mentioned her name? Yeah, she's going to be like what Ratcatcher was.
Right,
to
right. It's going to be a very Ratcatcher and Bloodsport relationship, which was the heart of the movie. And so,
now, might I give you a spoiler for the last page of the issue?
Go for it.
Orca shows up.
Oh. Not Tynan. Seeley loves Orca and those animal characters. So
Orca is such an underrated character. I am so surprised she's been used more and more lately.
Yeah,
but you remember when Robin killed her off after Infinite Crisis?
She was in Joker. She was in the
yeah.
Joker
No, I'm saying that's why I'm glad they're using her more often. Because remember, she got killed off originally after 1 year later.
Yeah, but she's kind of an anti-hero now. She's not really a villain anymore.
Yeah, but
yeah, she was in that squad with Nightwing. I believe they were all anti-heroes, right?
Was she in Outsiders?
No, I don't know if she was in Outsiders, but
oh no, she was in Rebirth Nightwing. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of it goes to how she was used in Injustice. I think it's really improved her standing.
Oh yeah. I haven't played Injustice, so I don't know.
No, the comic.
Oh, okay.
Taylor's comic.
Was she like an anti-hero in there?
Pretty much, and she and Croc got together, got married, and apparently she was having his kid.
That's interesting biologically.
They're both animal people, so...
That's not how animals work. She is a mammal, he is a reptile. But they're both
human first. They're both... No, remember, he's not really a reptile!
Yes, he is.
I mean, there was that one part in the that Batman's animated series, not the original, but the one that the last season, where they had Gotham Knights, where it was Crocodile and what's that woman who looks like a child?
Oh,
Baby
Doll.
That romance.
I like Baby Doll.
They ruined her in that episode.
No, I think she was the one who kind of got roped up into things. Croc was the one still being the more aggressive.
No, it's she was complaining how she wasn't being treated as a child, but as soon as she fell in love with Croc, she started acting like a child. She started talking baby.
Don't you mean treated as a woman? You mean?
Yeah, she wanted to be treated as an adult woman, not as a child.
No, that's true. I will say this though. I did feel bad for her in the beginning part, you know what I mean, where she has this job at a hotel and everything, and then it's like...
And she's treated like a kid, and I'm like, that's very relatable to me. I get jokes from people that I look 10 years old. And
I know, and the fact that, she has these glasses she wears and everything, so she can see better and all of that. It's just like, yeah, because you forget she should be like in her, 40s, 50s?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's like her eyes are probably not doing so well.
Oh my gosh.
Although, then again, you do remember that Sean Gory Murphy killed her off in the White Knight verse. Which, I gotta ask, do you think they're still working on, leading up to that, they're just waiting for him to finish Potholes, or do you think the controversy on social media kind of put the kibosh on it?
What was something? There was something controversial going on.
I know people were trying to get him canceled because they were claiming, oh, he did this stuff for Dogs in April. Oh, he's not calling out the comics gators.
Oh,
Ian, what do you think
About Sean Murphy?
Yeah, do you think the Murphyverse is still on, or do you think it's kind of stalled?
How did Harley Quinn sell?
No, Harley Quinn went out, but weren't they saying there were going to be a few other things before he would do the next miniseries?
Did they?
Yeah, and I think Blake Northcott was supposed to be part of it, and then it looks like she got to get, she had to unfollow everyone afterwards.
Huh.
And she's saying she's taking a hiatus from comics.
Wow.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
Wait, she took a hiatus after her not her Nightwing, her
Catwoman issues.
I mean, to be fair, those Catwoman issues weren't that great.
I liked them. I thought they were good, especially they brought back Snowflame. Come on, who doesn't like Snowflame?
Like
Okay, besides you.
Yes, I am the salty not liker.
Snowflame. Yes, because of Linkara is the main reason why most people know about him. Because the fact that his power as he gets stronger is powered from snorting cocaine.
That's terrible power.
How 80s of a villain can you get? But remember, it was Sean co-plotted that with her, remember?
Yes.
So he's as much to blame.
I mean, I'm not blaming either one. I just said I didn't like it.
Right, but I'm just saying, But yeah, from what I understand, that Blake was supposed to have to do something in the Murphyverse. We haven't heard much since, and like I said, we're waiting still on plot holes to come out.
Oh, we are? The Kickstarter?
No, it still hasn't been shipped yet. There was some delays because of his mother died, and that caused a major. Yeah, because he mentions that to the people, because I got the book myself. In fact, I'm one of the ones who ordered it, canceled it once he got the what's it called again when you reach a certain milestone?
Funded. Oh, never
yeah.
mind.
What was it? The Stretch goal. Yeah, the stretch goal where you get the oversized deluxe edition. So I canceled my order and reordered it with an extra $5 for the deluxe edition. And everything, and I can't wait. I've heard the digital copy, it's good, but I'm holding off on getting the physical copy before I review it.
Nice.
Yeah,
but, I mean, if his mom died, I mean that makes sense why there's.
Yeah, in fact, one of the main characters is based off of his mom.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah, the older woman that you've probably seen in the covers.
Oh.
I mean, there is a very distinct. There is a movement within both fandom and the creators to get rid of Sean Murphy,
because he won't call out either side.
Basically, because he's willing to talk to people they think are evil, like Doug TenNapel. Like Steve Orlando has been really nasty about the way he's treated Murphy. So
about the way you mean he's talking nasty about, you mean as in he's talking nasty about, or he's talking nasty and treating Murphy badly? What do you mean?
He's just kind of passive aggressively promoting,
insulting him.
Yeah, passive aggressively promoting people who attack Murphy.
Oh, and Jesus Christ. All because he's being a more reasonable, inhuman being who wants to treat others like human beings, unless they go after him personally.
Yep.
And yet, people in Comicsgate are giving him shit because, it's the same crowds who get ticked off because we're overseas and we didn't, and he's expected us to pay even more for it, and he's charging us now. It's like, cry me a river, guys.
That's how shipping works, guys.
Yeah, I paid $45 in shipping for chocolate from Africa.
Yeah, but
I mean, if I buy something on eBay from the country, I'm expecting to pay more shipping.
Comicsgate who expect, and yet they'll complain about when Liam did his book, and now everyone, because it was coming out of Australia, had to deal with those really expensive shipping costs.
People
it's
are
common
terrible.
sense.
Yeah, but again, no, it's
It's gonna
because
cost you
the moment
more.
the moment they let Sketch Therapy complain about how Doug Tenable handled that, and you had other people jump on board saying about, look at how much he's charging for the overseas shipping. Ever since then, it seems like it's a Comicsgate thing to do to bash on people who put in a huge amount for the overseas shipping, and apparently Ethan doesn't do it or something. I don't know what Ethan charges for it.
I don't know. I look at what's going on with that, and I think, I basically left paying attention to most of Comicsgate.
Oh, I have too, for the most part. It just pops up
agreed.
once in a while.
No, I did it a long time before you guys, just because I got really sick of. It was back when Ethan was like, Darwin Cook would be on my side, and I was like,
God, no. Well, tell me, I was never in Comicsgate. Remember that. I was never in it.
Oh, I was never.
define
I was
in
watching.
it.
No.
I was subscribed to some YouTube channels.
I don't count that. I would say I have never officially declared myself it ever. In fact, and I was one of those who would regularly call them out. Yeah. Quite frequently.
Well, I don't know what my relationship was. I used to be a lot friendlier with a lot of the people.
I was too, but ever since they've really gone in with this more focus on outrage over everything else, I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I agree.
There's only like one or two that I still consider, but even they still jump on the outrage more often than I for my liking.
But like I still think that something that really has hurt Comicsgate is the fact that so many of them are bad business people. Like,
oh, very much so.
I really like the Brightwisers, like as people.
Oh, but don't get me started. Don't. That's one of the few books I reject.
Bad business people.
Horrible. They're one of the reasons. I'm one of those who actually did get a refund.
I did not go for a refund, and I finally got my book. And
was it worth
it? But it was not worth the wait. That's for sure.
And nor worth the fact that he's not doing any more, apparently, or now he is.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah, he was going on saying that's it. I'm not doing any more. I'm going to focus on the business side. And it's like, you said this was going to be just part one, act one.
Yeah.
They realize it's a lot harder than they thought. So many that jumped on the train too early. They're like, I can do better than the big
and then
two.
You have people like
and then they're like, oh, never mind.
And then people follow Ethan's example of, we could be as lazy as we want and take our sweet time. So long as we make it clear now it's not coming out till next year, we can just, take our time. And I'm sorry, I feel a bit upset that they got Dale, that I don't know how did he convince Dale Keown to come join up. I'm just wondering what kind of promises Ethan's made that it's never going to get fulfilled. Probably expecting oodles of dollars when it's just like, yeah, and how well is Rainbow Brute doing?
How well is it doing? I haven't heard anything about it for like a really long time.
Hold on. It is at $445,536.
Thousands.
Yep, it hasn't even reached $1 million. It has not reached $1 million at all.
Didn't he copy that character from somebody's Twitter?
No. It was a lot of ideas from Cecil. And basically, it's supposed to be a joke on Rainbow Bright and and She-Ra and all that.
Oh, because I saw a Twitter page of somebody drawing that character from years ago, and Ethan did literally the exact same drawing, and I'm like, wait, this person created it first, and it was like an eligible
I think that was a CG person who did it.
Ah.
But yeah, you have things like that, and
but it was years ago, though. It was way before Comicsgate was even
right.
invented.
And I'll say, though, the fact that Cecil is the one writing it, I have no interest in Cecil at all. I'm sorry. I do not care for that guy at all.
Oh, his story's not really my thing.
Yep. And heck, I'm questioning about Cyberfrog 3 after this one.
I just think that the fact that they can't get product out is the biggest.
Yeah, especially when you compare to Tim Lim and all that. just chugging it out. It's like they just got one they're about to ship out. The other one's already finished and ready to go in a couple once they're done with shipping out the other one, and they're already halfway through writing the next one. They are 2 books ahead.
I can't keep up, so I'm taking a break.
I couldn't hear what you said there.
Oh, well, I see you're what?
Tim Lim.
No, wait, no. Ian, I think your camera's looking a little fuzzy. I think you're getting a delay on your end. I think there might be an internet connection because your camera's looking a little. It's looking a little fuzzy. Yeah, there's a definite delay. You're definitely picking me up a lot longer.
Yeah.
Maybe exit out and pop back in.
Okay.
All right.
Refresh, restart.
No, but trust me, I would recommend still following the Tim Lim books at least. Those are always a good deal.
I got the omnibus for Black Ops.
Yep.
And then for some reason, I thought the crossover between Common America and Black Ops were going to be in the omnibus, but it wasn't.
Nope, because they weren't even finished. They weren't even finished.
And now I'm like, now I have to get the omnibus. I'm getting the Common America individual volumes, and now I have to get the Common America Black Ops crossover.
Right.
And I'm like, I need a break.
Okay, fair enough. So your hair is now in pretty good, Ian?
Yep.
You're reacting at a better time. Okay.
Yay!
You want to know one thing about the 5G time I want to point out that really got me like, what? Was the fact that after Infinite Crisis, after Final Crisis, but before anything that happened with the new 52 version of Wonder Woman, they actually go put this after Final Crisis or after Flashpoint. Because they say Donna Troy becomes Wonder Woman, and then Diana returns as Wonder Woman. I'm like, this is not post-Flashpoint! I like the story!
That's such a good cover.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, because if you read it, it says Donna Troy becomes Wonder Woman, then Diana takes over. The only time that ever happened was here!
And that's right after Infinite.
Exactly, but instead it's after Flashpoint.
I don't.
And you know what I would say I like about this? So this could fit anywhere. That's what I like about this. You know,
they did recently reprint it with the Walmart books.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I give more props to Heinberg on the writing than Jeff.
Yeah.
Because the delays were because of Alan more than it was Jeff. Because Jeff was on his game at this point, but this went so much delay. So I think that tells me Alan was doing most of the scripting, I think.
Well, I didn't read it when it came out. I read that, like I said, with the Walmart books.
Oh, gotta love the Dodsons' work.
Yeah, I think they've gotten a little less polished than they used to be. Like, I like their stuff back at that point than I do now.
But I don't see them that often, to be honest.
They do a bunch of cover work these days.
Yeah, but they don't do as much interiors anymore, which is a real crying shame. But
I mean, I still think that Emanuele Lupacchino does a better job at doing the Dodsons than they do at this point.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Emanuele Lupacchino, the Italian artist who did Starfire.
Starfire. Oh yeah, the Starfire book. Yeah. But you know, I gotta say though, that post Infinite Crisis stuff, such strong stories.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. I mean, that's when you had Morrison Batman and Dini Detective and
you
Manhunter
had
by
Donner and
Andreyko.
Jeff Johns on Superman.
And
the only problem, of course, was Robin.
Yes.
For reasons we all know. Do you know what we're talking about, Bianca?
No.
You're the Cassandra guy. Go ahead.
Evil.
They made Cassandra evil. They had to be. She somehow learned how to talk perfectly, and it just
and took over the League of Assassins and killed a ton of people,
including her father initially.
There are so many retcons in that arc. It's hilarious. If it weren't terrible.
Yep, but I don't blame the writer all the way. He didn't know much about the character when he got assigned it.
No.
Which I've realized. I just
the
realized
problem
something.
is the writing wasn't very good, even if it were a different character.
You're right. Now, in fact, I just realized it seems like Infinite Crisis was a preview of what they were going to do for New 52. When you think about it, because I have to wonder how many of those 1 year later stuff where it's assigned to people, and how many of it was their own choices.
From what I understand,
It seems like
both Bill Willingham and Chuck Dixon, who wrote around that time for Robin, have said that DC editorial was extremely dictatorial. They were constantly just saying,
for them, but I don't know if all the books, though, is what I'm saying.
Well, it definitely was what was going on with Robin, so that would also...
And I'm pretty sure Catwoman. I have a feeling that Catwoman stuff was her getting pregnant and everything.
Well, that was a lot of meddling, because they're like, we can't have Batman be a father. Oops.
And yet, then why let him go through? Why have Will Pfeiffer go through with it? I think Will Pfeiffer is such an underrated writer.
If you don't want Batman to become a father, why do you have so many Robins?
Not like that.
It's still a father, even if it's not with papers.
And yet they let Morrison do Damian the same time.
Yes. Well, to be fair, Morrison's plot is more interesting than Pfeiffer's plot.
True, that is very true. But the fact they still named the girl Helena.
That was such a cheap.
Although I will say this, though, I have to admit, I love the bit of Batman, Bruce, doing it, standing in the child's room and then holding a teddy bear under his cape. That was, I'm like, Bruce would so do that for Selina. He would so do that just for her. No one else I could think of but her. Would you agree with that?
I think he'd do it for any child that he felt responsible for.
True. Although, and also I do like the bit later, and the fact that she was off, the board for a very short time, but when she tried to put the suit on, well, she still had a little bit of pregnancy fat on. So when we see her, there's little rips all over her outfit. I'm just like, okay, that's funny art-wise from an artistic angle, but then they had to get rid of the kid quick. That tells me this was done for marketing purely, because the moment you get rid of the kid that quickly, you were never going to go through with it. That's why it tells me that was more of a editorial thing. You know what I mean? That's like, now, again, I do think things like Jeff Johns and Richard Donner on Superman and the Up and Away, that I don't think was editorial. Not when you had Kurt and Jeff working on it. Would you agree with that? With their stuff on Superman.
Title again?
The Superman books. When you had Jeff, Richard Donner, and Kurt Busiek. I don't think they had any editorial edicts there.
So my Superman knowledge in the 2000s is really bad.
Okay.
I don't actually know anything that was going on.
You had Up and Away, which opened up with Superman depowered, and then eventually he gets the partway through, and then he and Lex have a great tussle.
What's the one where the Legion comes back?
Oh, that was a little bit later. But that was in action.
That's like the only thing I've read from that era.
But not even the Donner stuff where you had Chris Kent?
Nope.
All
I am a very casual Superman fan.
Well, I'm just saying, though, most of the stuff you could tell these were the ideas that the creators had in mind. So I think the main books that, those were what the creators wanted. I think the smaller books, like Nightwing, for example.
Love Nightwing.
Yeah, well, this is when they were still going through with if they had killed Dick, so you had Jason Todd as Nightwing. And okay, did you read the Nightwing book during that 1 year later stuff? Could you explain to me Jason becoming that monster?
Isn't this Tomasi's run?
No, Tomasi was afterwards.
Okay,
1 year later, you had Jason as Nightwing.
I haven't read that.
You never read it? Oh, never mind then.
Nightwing is a weird character in that I only really became interested in him during the New 52. So I've read Higgins' run, I've read Grayson, I've read Seeley's run. I've read everything except for Scott Lobdell's run.
Did you read Tomasi?
No, I haven't read Tomasi. I've read maybe 2 or 3 issues of Grayson. I've only read the first year of Dixon. So I really haven't read a lot of Nightwing because I didn't like him.
I thought you said you're the Batman guy. I thought you did.
I am, but Dick Grayson... So I'm kind of salty because I like all the characters after Nightwing, and so I was like, Nightwing gets all the credit. I'm going to ignore him. So I ignored him until he was Batman.
You mean after Batman R.I.P.?
Yes.
Which
That's when I really
that
started
was good. That was a good era.
Yes, it was my favorite era.
Yeah, I love that.
You've got Tim as Red Robin. You've got Dick as Batman. You've got Stephanie as Batgirl. It is so great.
I especially love how you had that one point where you were going to have a two-faced Batman. They never utilized it, so Judd Winnick utilized it magnificently as an hallucination during that one arc. Remember?
Actually, I think I skipped the Winnick stuff. I went straight to Tony Daniel.
Oh, yeah, it was right in between to give Tony Daniel a chance to catch up and get things going. And basically at a point where apparently Two-Face at least figured out about the Batcave. He didn't figure out anything of the identity stuff, but he figured out about the Batcave. Got in there, or followed their way in there, and then he was taunting Batman saying, "You're not the real Batman. Batman never smiles." But what does Dick say? Unlike you, who refuses to change, I've changed. That was Dick's way of doing it.
That's why I love Dick.
Yeah.
As Batman. Oh, jeez.
You said it. We heard it.
Not myself.
I make that mistake sometimes. Especially to people who don't know anything about comics or comic book characters.
Yep.
I'm like, oh man, my favorite character is Dick, and they're like, what? Grayson? His name is Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson. Can't take it back.
So this is why we all call him Rick, and we all.
Fuck Rick Grayson.
I would rather call him Richard, but with
Richard or even Dickard.
Master Dickard.
Oh, Master Richard. Master Grayson. Well, I guess I'm
You're
surprised.
making my heart hurt because we don't have Alfred right now.
No.
I was about to say that still bums me out, especially after Desmond said characters would come back, and then they decided to keep him dead.
Because it wasn't Tom King's fault. He didn't want to kill Alfred.
I know that was editorial's fault, but you think with Didio gone?
Well, so here's my thought.
Editorials are supposed to make things better.
So you're saying that Infinite Frontier is probably leading. Infinite Frontier is probably leading to a new event.
Well, I think it's also establishing the status quo of the Omniverse a little.
Yes, but I think it is. I mean, Williamson has said it's leading to another event too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that event, because originally what everyone told me is the plan was to bring Alfred back in 5G. So that's not happening, obviously.
Right.
So I think that
they decided to make a story out of it instead of what could bring him and the others back.
Yeah. Well, also here's something. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, Tynan hates the Batgirls. He doesn't want and I think no.
What?
I think he's trying. I think Tynan doesn't want to use Alfred. That I think is actually true.
Okay.
And the reason I think this is, number one, he loves Alfred. This is not that he hates Alfred, but
it helps the stories out.
Right. He has talked in his newsletter about how this era of Batman looks different and it feels different. And one of those things is Alfred being gone. And so I think
is true. Him losing his money, Alfred being gone,
moving to the city.
And yet people are looking at it as a bad thing. Have you noticed in this community? They're just like, weird, bitch.
Eating a burger with a fork and a knife.
Yep, it's like them complaining about was Mariko Tamaki. I like her Detective Comics run because I like best at that. I said this before, I'm going to say it again. I thought those characters they were introduced in the first issue of a run were going to be long-standing supporting characters. Nope, cannon fodder!
Kill them all!
Did you feel that way too, though? Like they were going to be like a new supporting cast, and then boom, 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 boom.
I didn't know because I was still trying to figure out because I really liked her Wonder Woman run, but
which
that was
again I regret not getting. I regret it.
You can still get it. in volume form.
Yeah, but that's going to look weird when I have all the other issues before and after it.
Listen, I do what I can. Some of them are copies, some of them are volume form.
Yep.
I will take.
Well, it's like, well, I'll say this. It's like, I'll tell you this. It's like how I have all the issues of Doomsday Clock. Yeah, I still have the Absolute Edition of Watchmen. The moment that there's an Absolute Edition of Doomsday Clock, and you know there will be, I'm getting it. So I can have it next to Doomsday Clock, and next to Watchmen.
Are you going to sell your singles?
Actually, I keep them and then I give them away to friends or whatever who don't have them.
I heard that selling them.
I never sell my books, mostly because they're such banged up condition. I say I might have told the story. I don't know if I told you it to you. I met Dwayne McDuffie a year before he died.
Yeah, you have told me that.
Yep. But one of the things that I had him sign was a bunch of his runs of issues on Justice League. And actually, it was either McDuffie or James Robinson. It might have been both saying similar things, but both of which they got to a point where they came up to an issue that had a cover falling out. And I don't remember which one it was, but one of them definitely said, I'm just like, oh, just sign. I'm just doing that. Oh, you're not going to take it over and get slabbed? I'm like, but they're like, this shows that it's well loved. You love reading it. Yeah, I'm like, exactly. I just want, but you know what? They'll bother me to this day. I brought everything I owned at McDuffie I did up to that point that was released. So any issue that came out afterwards, I don't blame it. But I missed one book that I did own, and that was the World War Hulk Damage Control miniseries. And I really, because everything else he signed, but that. So I thought, maybe next time. 1 year later.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like some other creators I've met that passed away. Norm Brayfogle, for example. That was a blow.
I'm still really sad I never got a chance to meet Denny O'Neil.
Oh yeah, me neither. Oh boy,
he was scheduled to come to a con, but he pulled out because of health.
Right. Which I gotta say though, remind me, I know you don't care for Jeff Johns, but in all honesty, where do you stand on Doomsday Clock as a whole story? I mean, on its own.
It's fine. Like, I think I've told you this before, but I really think it should have been a 4-issue mini, not a 12-issue mini.
Well, I was trying to be like Watchmen, of course, so...
Yes, but, like, I think there is a decent story in there. I just don't think it's a 12-issue story.
True. But overall, like, a lot of the beats... I mean, I think everything seems to drag until you get to issue 7. Once John finally shows up.
It's not so much that it drags, it's just that, like, I understand what he's doing, but I'm not a Watchmen fetishist, so I don't care that he's copying Watchmen.
Right. But I will say, though, the stuff with John, I think he got a good candle of the character. Some people said he didn't. I think he did. I think it was just a misunderstanding leading into it, but I think he did understand John once he was writing him. Would you agree with that?
Wait, John?
Dr. Manhattan.
I didn't. I mean, nothing felt wrong to me. I mean, I like the stuff with the diner, the guy he meets at the diner. And...
Yep, and I thought the whole, when he was studying about magic, he's like, it's great to still learn. I'm like, that feels like something he would say, because he's felt like he's known everything. So to have that one moment of studying magic and actually learn about it, it's like, yeah, he's going to actually smile like I never thought I learned something new. Did you read Doomsday Clock?
I don't even have all the issues still, and then I'm like, I just might as well get the volume.
Yeah, there is the trade, which fits, if you have the Watchmen normal trade, it fits perfectly alongside.
So how much does comics sell for? Because like when I asked my comic book shop, they're like, no, just don't sell it. Like wait 50 years or whatever and then sell it.
It depends on the condition you keep them in.
Perfect, beautiful condition. I don't touch.
Mine are. I'll tell you, some of mine are depending on how much I read them. But if I reread them a lot, like I said, covers are shredded off and everything. Because I'm constantly taking them and putting them back on the shelf. But yeah, it depends. Like it also depends on a multitude of factors. Like buying a first edition of Green Lantern Sinestro Cold War is going to go for a lot. because no one knew what was going to happen at the end. They kept that a secret, and when it came out, it sold out fast.
I do have a selling app, which I sell my stuff. So
also, you actually you do sell your stuff.
Yeah, I do. Like, I haven't sold any comics yet so far, but like when I see people
again,
selling
it depends
comics,
on
like $30.
Right.
Or
again,
like
it depends on what the book is. It depends on how long it's been. It depends on oh hey Bianca, zombie. It depends on again.
I
it
looked
depends.
at you and I'm like, yes.
That's why I said zombie. That's why I had to say zombie. But yeah, again, it depends on so many factors. It depends on how rare it is. It depends on. I mean, you could always put something out there for someone who's going to be looking. Like, I just realized I have a hole in my Invader Zim collection, and yeah, I'm missing one issue of that. I cannot believe I'm missing it. And now when I'm looking online, I find for a good deal, but then the shipping is way overpriced.
Like they're selling Batcat issue number 1, $10.
That's a good price for that, I would think.
$5 shipping.
And again, it all depends on what points you do it as well.
Mm.
And also, some books are just not going to be worth a line. You'd be lucky to get $1 for it.
Unfortunately, with this selling up, $1 is not an option.
You get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, do I think Generation Shatter and Forge are going to be worth a whole lot? Well, because they're thick books, yeah. But I mean, compared to other books of its same thickness, actually, I'll say this. These are probably going to be worth more than those anthology books, the holiday anthology books. Mm-hmm. But that's all I'm going to say there. Mm-hmm. Now, say something like Detective 1027. Oh, yeah, this is going to be worth quite a lot.
I have a Golden Age comic.
For the thickness, I mean. For the thickness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying down the line in a couple of years.
I feel like the thing about those issues is they got so many printed that they won't really be worth that much.
Well, I'm talking about the other covers, the more rare covers. Like this cover, probably not.
I mean, I got the art germ cover for that one.
I gotta say, I loved it and how it was ad-free. I love that this was ad-free.
I do too. I mean, most of those anthologies are mostly ad-free.
Yeah. And the main reason why I got this out was because I was rereading through the Generation stuff, and since that started here. But, I still got to go through my reread of Williamson's run. Oh, on a different note, you know who I'm trying to get on my for an interview stream?
Who?
Tim Seeley.
I love Tim Seeley. I just listened to a podcast where he talked about Money Shot and King Shark, and he did. Did you see that podcast?
No, I did not, but I do know. It was a word balloon, right?
He talked. No, it wasn't word balloon. It was Comics and Chronic. It's a weed comics podcast. Mm-hmm. I don't normally listen to them, but I was looking for Seeley interviews, and he had a take on the Batman oral sex controversy with the Harley Quinn cartoon.
What did he say?
It was really mature. So he says that Batman is fundamentally a children's character. Is a comic.
That's true.
Sell to
children. Look at the guy who did Hack Slash. Remember
right. But what he's saying is that if you want Hack Slash, buy Hack Slash.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say, which is the fact that Zack Snyder was so quick to do a little thing like that tells you a lot. It's like, yeah, if you want it, don't do it with Batman. Do it with Midnighter or someone. Do it with some ripoff.
R-rated character.
Yeah, but I gotta say, though, with Seeley, I'm so glad with how far he's gotten in this industry. You know what I mean? Back from when you look at how Hack Slash started, and wasn't he one of the heads of Double Do, I think?
I think so. I am curious to see what Seeley does now, because he it feels like he's trying to sort of come back to DC. And
what happened when he left?
I mean, he just did a lot of indie. I think he felt that DC was too crowded, but
now it probably feels
it's a lot less crowded now. So I think there's a chance that he could kind of become.
And he didn't end on bad terms, did he?
No, not that I can tell.
Not like others.
He was just tired, not like Orlando.
Yeah, again, wasn't just not just because of Sean Gordon Murphy, was it also Snyder he was getting fed up with?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
And yet, wasn't Snyder kind of helped kick his career off with DC with the Shadow Book?
Well, the thing about Snyder is that he can be a big help, but he's also so.
Oh, trust me, I'm aware of that. I've talked with him before.
Yeah. So, it's a double-edged sword. He can be extremely helpful, but it also is a lot of work.
Which I think between him and Jeff Johns seems to be the kind of guy who'd be more of a helpful, I think, by comparison. Would that be right, or am I wrong? Yeah.
But
I said between Scott and Jeff Johns seems more comfortable being a team player, I think, compared to Snyder. Or am I off? I'm talking about when it comes to the comic writing, not Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Or does it depend on if he likes you, like he did Tomasi?
Yeah, I think it really depends on your. I mean, that's true of anyone. It depends on your relationship with them.
Yeah, like Tomasi and him were tight.
Yeah. I think that. So here's the deal. I don't really like Snyder or Johns.
I know that. That I know very well. I know B doesn't, but
so this is not because I like one of them better than the other.
I understand that. I understand.
I think that Snyder, as a promoter, as someone who goes out there and says, "I like this guy," you should.
Oh yeah, he's probably better than Johns. Johns is more of a. If it's his protege, yes. If it's anyone else, no.
I think that when it comes to collaborating and working, like fitting things together with other writers, I think Johns is much better. I think Snyder is a very selfish writer, and tends to only really pay attention to what he cares about.
And yet, the funny thing is, a lot of the events that surround the Bad Towers were better coordinated than others.
Were they really, though?
Well, I would definitely say I'd still compare Night of the Owls. It's comparable to Blackest Night as far as, they can fit and you don't need to read them.
Yeah, but that's because of the structure, and that was all editorial. It wasn't Snyder.
True. And then all the other ones, of course, were more thematic. But for Night of the Owls, though, that did feel well planned. Although I will say, and to a small degree, Deaths of the Family.
I didn't read the tie-ins to Death of the Family because I just hate that storyline so much.
I don't blame you.
Because,
that's just the way it ended. Everything started it was fine.
The death of those relationships. Like, it's supposed to make Batman isolated and then, with a bad relationship.
All because of the fact that he knew that Joker had figured things out.
Right, but they said in interviews, this is the point of this story. And I'm like, I don't like stories who do that. This is the point of War Games. This was the point of...
I'll say this, though. I think it was better handled than War Games.
Stubbing my toe is better handled than War Games.
Yeah, at least no one died.
Yes, I don't think anyone
And at least no one got tortured with a power drill.
Well, Batman got electrocuted a lot.
Yeah, but it's Batman. You know he can take it, unlike other characters who we know couldn't.
I mean, she took it. It's just the fact that,
she died!
Well, but the thing is, she was gonna die no matter what.
Because editorial said so.
Every single writer who was writing for War Games except Anderson Gabrick went to DC editorial and said, "Do we have to kill Steph?" And
so Anderson was the only one. That's why he got to do it. Did he do it?
Yep.
But still, though, I still say with Jeff Johns, he is. I've told you before, he is one of my influences because of how he writes. I mean, maybe not the man himself.
No, I think he's got a lot of skills. It's just that the things that interest him aren't the things that interest me.
True, and same with Scott Snyder. That's why I felt that when they did the Death Metal Secret Origins together, you could tell that they were doing it together. Although you could definitely tell which point Superboy Prime was written by Snyder and which ones it was written by Johns.
Sometimes that surprises you, though, because sometimes someone will write something and you're like, oh,
Well,
That's
for
gotta be
example,
that
the
one.
points when they put in little sly jabs at fandom culture, that was John's, because that's what he's done with the character. Snyder
Oh, yeah.
did not do that at any point, which I give. That's one thing I give Snyder props for. It felt like that's one thing I love about Death Metal. It felt like in a weird way, it was Snyder saying, maybe there are certain elements of the fans like Superboy Prime who maybe we should have listened to. Not all of them, but the moment they were focusing, when you had Wonder Woman say that felt like in trying to embrace the fans who were overzealous, but may have had a good point. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. I haven't read either Infinite Crisis or The Secret Origins, so I.
Well, you just said you were reading Infinite Crisis. No. I'm talking about during Death Metal. I'm talking in the main Death Metal book, when Diana was telling Superboy Prime that we were wrong, that all that.
Oh, right.
That felt like that was Snyder
I may have
trying
tried to forget most of Death Metal.
Right, but I'm saying no. That felt like a moment where it was Wonder Woman representing DC saying, "You might have had a good point. You might have still gone overboard, but you might have had a good point. We were ignorant not to listen."
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what it feels like he was, with Superboy Prime. They were trying.
I did like that. I did like that issue. I just felt that issue was too much of a filler arc. Like everything that happened in that issue was basically
everything that was important was in the Trinity book. Everything that was important was in the Crisis Trinity book. Yes. Yeah. But still, though, I would say that. But then when you had the Secret Origin stuff and you had Superboy Prime actually get his redemption, I did not expect that, and it was glorious.
I don't know, what is that?
Huh?
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Side convo.
Yeah, I mean, what did you say? Did you at least read? You didn't read that, you said. But yeah, he gets a redemption. Unfortunately, no one else knows.
The problem is, since I didn't read Infinite Crisis, I have no connection to the redemption.
You didn't read Infinite Crisis. That was a great event. That was one of my earlier events that I read. As it was coming out.
Too much death.
Yep, and unlike later stuff, you didn't have Jeff Johns' excuse saying, "I need Black Lanterns." But that's what they were saying leading up to Blackest Night, remember? Why'd you kill this one off? They pointed, "Jeff, I need Black Lanterns." What you gotta say? That was fun.
And
that
to be
was
fair, he brought them all back with, almost all of them back with the...
Not all of them, really. There was a lot who stayed dead.
But there was a lot who came back.
Only the 7 or so at the very end.
That's a pretty big chunk.
Yeah, you lost Tempest, Dolphin. There's just so many.
Dolphin's back now, so it's all good.
Oh yeah, now same with Tempest.
But you know who's not back? Lorena Marquez. I am still sad.
Who?
Aquagirl.
Oh yeah, but really, she's been dead since Christ on Infinite Earth.
No, not that Aquagirl. The one from the mid-2000s.
Oh, when did she die?
She didn't die. She was just erased in the New 52.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, I remember her. She was the one that was there during the Sub Diego day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the last time we saw her was during Infinite Crisis, I think. No, was during...
Oh, she was in...
No. During 52 World War III when Arthur, raised Sub Diego.
She was in The Brightest Day. So she was around after that.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot then, because I just remember when Arthur... The fact that they had to squeeze in everything they wanted to explain between, end of Infinite Crisis and 1 year later into that World War III thing, because they had so much fun telling their own story that they forgot what the purpose was for 52.
Oops.
I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but that's the case where I can see why Dan DiDio probably got upset. And to be honest, when you promise one thing and you give something else, but you still didn't fill in the other stuff you promised, yeah, I'd get ticked off too. Wouldn't you? When you promise 52 is going to explain a lot or bridge a lot of stuff between Infinite Crisis and 1 year later, and then you don't.
That does seem like it's a problem, but no one complains about that.
True. Like I said, they did shove a lot of them into World War III, like killing off Terra 2
Aw,
brutally.
don't kill Terra too.
We wouldn't have gotten the Palmiotti and Connor and Terra.
Oh,
Who
I
I
thought that
love.
was that one. No.
No, that was 3. 2 was the clone, the temporal clone from 0 Hour.
Oh, okay.
2 was still the other Terra. You know,
Oh,
Tara. I mean,
confusing.
Tara. No.
Oh,
3 was Atlee. 3 was Atlee.
Yeah, I like Atlee.
I love her too. That's why I'm so glad she's still around.
She was in Starfire.
Starfire, and then she appeared during Harley Quinn, The Birds of Prey.
Of course she did, because it's Carter Palmiotti.
Yeah, but you do realize, and I'll be honest, I've been trying to get an interview with them too. Their HR guy or whatever is making clear they don't really want to talk much about it. They're no longer working at DC anymore. And I'm like,
Oh, really?
yeah, so they don't want to talk much about their stuff. They'll talk a little bit, but they want to talk about their more current creator-owned stuff.
Oh, that's sad.
I think, what drove them away? The fact that it was a Black Label stuff, but they still couldn't do stuff like nudity and everything. They were restrained still.
But it's Black Label.
Unfortunately,
but
after
the
the
thing
Battlewing,
The thing is, I think you could get away with nudity with Harley Quinn.
no, they were told no.
But the thing is, Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo pushed too far with Batman. You shouldn't push with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. Like, those are the kids' characters.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, the Battlewing was supposed to be hidden, but it wasn't enough.
I had this dude at the comic shop talking to me about how this is why Superman was afraid of Batman. I'm just like, how old are you, man?
For one, I'm pretty sure Superman's more impressive than Batman down there.
I don't even care. Why?
I'm saying that as a joke.
I just think that they should never have let Azzarello and Bermejo do that.
Now, here's a big question: Did Azzarello tell him to do it, or did Lee Bermejo just choose to do it because it was Black Label adults and all that?
So I read an interview that was translated by Google from French, with Azzarello, and what Azzarello said there was that it was Bermejo's idea.
Ah, that sounds like him.
It does, but I mean, it also could sound like Mr. I had Batman sleep with Batgirl in the Killing Joke movie.
That was Bruce Timm's idea.
Was it though?
Yes, it was. I firmly believe that was Bruce Timm's idea. He's had a mad on for that ship.
That's true. He does. So
after the Battlewing, no, unfortunately, no more nudity at all.
After that,
you could push it like Harleen did.
Harleen didn't have nudity, but was extremely sensual and very dark.
Oh yeah, especially the point when she wakes up and flat out says, "I'm wet. I feel wet."
And
but that look on her face is that like,
I just think that DC Damned should not have been what it was, and it shouldn't have been their first book.
I agree, but like I said, I think that was the bridge too far. I think they were promised creative freedom, and they didn't get it.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that they're not working at DC right now.
Again, given some of their tweets, it kind of gives that feeling. It's both for money reason and probably the lack of creative control on that last one.
What do you mean by money? Do you think they
hasn't Palmiotti been going about talking about how DC's been cutting, or slashing their fees or something like that? Or Palmiotti's mentioned something saying, no, Easton and the others won't shut up about it when Palmiotti makes a comment about the how well DC's handling the money payments and all that.
Huh. Odd.
Or something like that. But
I haven't seen that, so you could very well be right. But that's a bummer because I think they're good for DC. I think that they've done a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think they'll go back. I think they just need some time away as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, the fact is when you look through did you read Harley Quinn, The Birds of Prey?
Yes.
What did you think of it? Did it feel like a grand finale for their Harley Quinn stuff?
I mean, it felt like a continuation. I don't know if I could say it felt like a finale.
I kind of feel like it felt like they were trying to tell Birds of Prey properly, because the plot felt like it could have worked.
I mean, more properly than the movie, but again,
That's what I meant.
like
That's what I meant. Didn't it feel like you could have fit this within the movie plot to a degree, with some changes?
Yeah.
Like, if you could have had Jared Leto as Joker in there, I could have so seen it where she breaks in and steals his money. You know what I mean? But, like I say, I reread through their Harley Quinn run, and I gotta say, I really liked how they handled Harley, and how she is not specific in her sexuality. She both adores and is in love with Ivy, and yet at the same time, she had a good, steady boyfriend as well, until given what happened to him at the end.
Didn't she also have a crush on Booster Gold?
That was when Sam Humphries took her. I'm talking about with Palmiotti and Connor. I also love it how it was revealed that she kissed both Bruce Wayne and Batman, but she then says, "Hey, Bruce Wayne's a better kisser," meaning that Bruce deliberately kisses differently, so no one when he knows they've kissed the other one, he makes sure he kisses differently.
Well, Batman would do that.
Yeah, most wouldn't, you would know, but yeah, Batman would. It'd be like, because given how Harley's reaction, she probably would tell the difference. And that's one thing I do like. And that's, another bit I think is underrated was that first opening arc of Suicide Squad Rebirth by Rob Williams with Jim Lee on artwork. I love that point when Harley becomes Harleen again, and yeah, she cuts off her ponytails and puts her hair back up, and it's back to being a doctor, but showing she's still a badass. Did you read that?
I've read some of that run, but it didn't really stick in my head.
That's the first 7 issues that Jim Lee worked on. Basically something that caused everyone to go insane, but it caused Harley to go sane.
I think I did read it, but like I said, it didn't really stick in my head much.
Yeah, and eventually General Zod comes involved.
Yes, I remember the Zod thing because that's when Rick Flag and Harley were having an affair, and I was just like, what is happening?
Captain Boomerang gets vaporized at first, and he somehow uploaded into the computer.
It got pretty wacky.
It did, but like I said, though, Harley becoming Harleen I like that. I like it when they have a beat that Harleen is still in there trying to get out. That wasn't needed for Palmiotti and Connor's run, but I could see when other writers are doing it, that's not a bad idea.
Well, I mean, Palmiotti and Connor are basically an alternate universe.
For them, pretty much, yeah. Even though some of their events got referenced, for example, her and Wonder Woman during Little Black Book #1 gets referenced in Justice League for the Suicide Squad.
Well, that's just because Josh Williamson is a continuity nerd.
Which, I gotta say, that looking back on that event, I didn't care for it then. I actually like it now for what it is.
It's
like, for being the
fine.
First big event of the Rebirth era, I could think of worse.
I just don't care about events.
But yeah, I mean, when you have it be that turn, and then then the fact that they set up Task Force Y
Z.
or whatever, what?
Z
Task Force Z. No, Y.
Oh, it's Z. The zombies.
No, that's the one coming up.
Oh,
At the end of Justice League for the Suicide Squad, it was Y, and it was gathering all the telepaths, which they used in No Justice. Remember to try and control Brainiac?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm starting to get tired of myself. I think it's time to wrap up. And, oh, geez, I just looked at the clock. It's now 1139, but when I looked at it, it was 1138.
Oh.
Every time I do that, I always snicker. Every time I see 1138, I go, Okay, so thank you two for coming on. And yeah, I know we've gone well past Suicide Squad talk, although we kind of wrapped it up right kind of back at it. So
watch Suicide Squad, guys.
Right.
So
if you are 18, don't watch it if you're younger.
Yep, definitely. So okay, let's end with final verdicts with the movie. Like 1 out of 10. What would you give? I give it a 9.
There was somebody who said they rated it like a 7.5, and I think I'm also around there, 7.5 or an 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it an 8 because for me, Aquaman's a 9, Shazam's an 8.5, and Justice League the Whedon cut is an 8, And I enjoyed this as much as Justice League the Whedon cut. Now, I would say that Zack Snyder's was like a 7.8, just a little under, just because I think there's so much stuff he needed to trim out of there.
Oh yeah, and but at the same time, I'm still grateful that that's not the canon one.
I'm not bashing it. It's just I think that it's a first cut, and so
it is a first. I'm gonna say no, but there's elements in there I'm glad it's not canon, like the Superman stuff.
I don't.
I'm protective of Superman. All right.
I appreciate.
Be my boy.
He is a great boy, and everyone should also watch Superman and Lois. New episodes next week.
Oh, yep.
It's still going
And
on?
and Stargirl as well. Get ready to watch Stargirl.
Lots of great DC content, guys. Go watch.
It'll be August 10th, so just in 4 more days.
Oh my
3 more days,
God.
technically.
I don't have HBO Max. Gotta use my cousin's
No,
account.
you don't need HBO Max. It's
No?
on
CW?
No, it's CW. Yeah.
I need my sister's iPad.
Okay, well, everyone, catch you all later.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.